Hello and welcome to NISMO TV. We're joining you here from Autopolis, high in the mountains in Kumamoto. And we'll start out with a look at what happened yesterday in the qualifying session for this 300-kilometer race in the mountains down south in Japan. This is the GT500 qualifying session. My name's Sam Collins and I'm joined here in the studio by Rob Barff. Welcome back, Rob.
Thank you, Sam. Good to be here. Penultimate round of the championship. Things really hotting up, and as you say, looking at the highlights of yesterday's qualifying, there we see the 23 car.
And the highlights were not so high, as you can see on the scoring order, the positions for the NISMO team, and indeed all of the other Nissan GT-Rs in GT500. It didn't prove to be a good qualifying session there. Ronnie Quintarelli looking very unhappy because he didn't get to go out. But in GT300, things were looking up. There's the number 10 Gainer Tanex car, and that was extremely competitive, as you can see in Q2 in the GT300 category. But it was just pipped at the post by the Hoppy 86. We'll have a look at the rest of the slightly unpredictable GT300 qualifying order when we come talk through the grid later on. But this was quite a surprising qualifying session, wasn't it?
Yes, it threw up surprises in both GT300 and GT500. For me, the dominance of the Honda NSXs took me by surprise. This is a relatively technical circuit. We've seen earlier in the year when we've been to relatively technical circuits before, they haven't shown this front of grid dominance, and yeah, genuinely surprising.
Tyre performance is going to be a big factor here. The surface and the track layout here at Autopolis is really abrasive on the tyres, so you're going to see an awful lot of tyre wear through the race, to the point where we got a tweet from Jan Mardenborough just before the race saying it could be a 1 or 2 stop. But for now, let's have a look at the starting order for the 300-kilometre race here at Autopolis, the penultimate round of the 2018 Super GT season. Round 7, if you're counting. Oita Prefecture in Japan, up there in the mountains, 700 to 800 metres above sea level. Going to give a little bit of a effect to some of the engine performance, but this is really a chassis-dominated track rather than an engine performance-dominated one. Cars on the starting grid. There are the Autopolis ready to start, but here is the starting grid. On pole position, it's the Arta NSX. Mr. Orange Jacket's going to be happy with that. Followed alongside him by the Keihin NSX. Then leading out the top 3, Jensen Button's Raybrigg NSX Honda. First of the Toyotas is in 4th position. Kazuki Nakajima starts that. The AU Toms LC500. Nick Cassidy starts the Keeper Toms teammate car in 5th position. 6th position is the Motul-sponsored Mugen Run NSX GT. Alongside that, Bertie Baguette and Matsura's Epson Modulo NSX. Really strong performance from Honda in qualifying. The Zensurumo LC500 in 8th position. 9th is the Wacos LC500. Felix Rosenquist starts that. Could it be one of his last ever Super GT races? Kenta Yamashita alongside him in the Wed Sport car. First of the Nissans, Jan Mardenborough starts in 11th position in the blue car. Heikki Kovalainen alongside him in 12th position. JP Oliveira in the Forum Engineering GT-R in 13th. And the Motor Lawtech GT-R down in 14th. Rounding out GT500, Satoshi Motoyama in 15th. And then the white number 3 GT-R. On pole position, though, in GT300, it's the Hoppy 86. That's the pink and white car. Sho Suboi on the back of his victory in Fuji Speedway in Formula 3 is in that. Gainer Tanex GT-R second on the front row. Could be a great race for them. The Max Ayeken 86 in 3rd position alongside the Subaru BRZ in 4th. The Good Smile Hatsune Miku AMG GT in 5th position alongside the best qualifying position ever for the Toyota Mark X mother chassis car. The first of the Honda NSX GT3s in 7th. Michigami starts that alongside the Manipa Lamborghini in 8th position. The Legal Frontier Lamborghini and 9th. 10th position is the K-Tunes RCF. Morio Nitta, second driver in that. Tomonori Fuji in 11th position in the D-Station Porsche. The Leon AMG GT in 12th. Then it's the Cintium LM Corsa RCF GT3, one of those Lexus GT3 cars. Then the similarly sponsored Lotus in 14th. Mother chassis car there, mid-engined. 15th position, the other one of the Gainer Tanex GT-Rs. That's a car to watch as it grows up through the field. The Golf Porsche in 16th. 17th is the Car Guy Porsche, based at Fuji Speedway. Long journey it is for them. And then Richard Lyon starts his Audi in 18th. 19th, Nagai in the first of the Toyota Prius GTs. Kano starts the EX-EMG GT3 in 20th position. Yuji Ide in 21st in the Bentley. And the Arta BMW way down in 22nd position. The Upgarage 86 got to be disappointed with 23rd position on the start line. The run-up GT-R down in 24th position. The Thai GT3 Toyota, Lexus in the 25th position. And the Richard Bradley and Mintzilla 26th. 27th is disappointingly the 31 Toyota Prius, and 28th position, Wada starts the RQ's GT3, rounding out the field, but due to a penalty rather than position, is the Titan R8. Well, that's going to be really interesting to see how those mother chassis cars and the JAF GT3 cars, or GT300 cars, move against those GT3 cars. They're really light on tyres, and we know the track's really hard on the tyres.
And our championship leader from GT300 down there in 22nd. He's got such a lot of work to do to make his way up from there. That's going to be fascinating to see how Takagi and Sean Walkinshaw can make their way up from there. But a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. 16, 17 degrees today, and as we can see, the sun is out and nice warm track temperatures, so shouldn't be too bad for the guys coming out after their pit stops.
They're just getting ready for the national anthem, but the track temperature is a crucial factor, and I think with an uncertainty about how many pit stops this race is going to have, 1 or 2, I'd have said it was a straight-up one-stop strategy, but they must be really worried about tyre wear to be discussing a 2-stop.
Yeah, tyre dag's definitely going to make a difference. Bridgestone runners at the front of the GT500 field, we'll have to see. Obviously, they've got the pace in qualifying, but will they have the pace and the durability in the race, Sam?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I think they've lost the CD for the national anthem. They're all sort of lining up waiting for it. But
I'm just hoping it's not a 2-minute silence that we're talking over or something. I feel culturally unhappy. Nope, it wasn't. They were just looking for the CD.
Yeah, I think that's it. And, well, there was a nice band there with the school children there. I think as we look then, they're firing off on the national anthem, though we can't hear it. Well, there they are. The Japanese fans will get the opening declaration from the lead sponsor, Arta Autobacks, the Autobacks company, which is they've got a big accessories thing in the paddock here. But there's the real factor. Look at the GT500 Drivers' Championship, the Car 100, Naoki Yamamoto, Jensen Button at the top of the table with 61 points. Now, you'll notice they've only got 61 kilos of ballast. The key factor here at Autopolis is it's a half ballast race.
So they get 1 kilo of ballast for every championship point. And as you can see, the championship leading car, beg your pardon, maybe a Freudian slip there, championship leading car, it still runs that stage 2 fuel restrictor. So it will be interesting to see how the fuel flow restrictions play into the hands of our championship leader in the Honda that's qualified on 3rd position on the grid.
Yeah, it's the 23 Nissan GT-R, the red car. No one's quite certain about why Nissan was looking for pace. There was an open test at Motegi just over a week and a half ago. It was hot sunshine, and we didn't really see a poor performance from the Nissan cars there. In fact, they were very competitive. Honda were way off the pace and were struggling completely, and they now seem to have found something for Autopolis, but will they be able to get that advantage and carry it through to Motegi for the final round, which will be live and in full here on NISMO TV. Lots of news coming out of that test. Driver changes coming up, car changes. Mr. Orange Jacket staying. There he is, saying thank you. And he's going to declare the race open.
ただいまより2018オートバックススーパー GT 第7戦
Sounds good form today. And he's declaring the race open. Thank you, is what he said. And bows. And now the police take over their activity, but there is his company logos. The Auto Racing Project, and the film crew are out. The girl has got her board. I wonder what it says. We'll find out in a minute. And the chaps with yellow flags are in position. Wish somebody would answer that phone. Well, it's a quite a drawn-out starting grid here at Autopolis for some reason. They're taking their time over a few things, but Autopolis is a little bit removed from the rest of Japan.
A little bit.
It would take quite a long time to get there on the Shinkansen.
Take quite a long time to get there if you had a helicopter. It's in the middle of nowhere, Sam, as you know. And yeah, the circuit was opened in 1990. It was closed 3 years after that, but then reopened in 2005. Interesting place, but as you say, the surface of the circuit now incredibly abrasive, and it will be fascinating to see. As we know, this series is a tyre war series, so all the different cars running different makes and structures and constructions of tyres, and giving them different levels of performance in qualifying and different levels of durability in the race. That factor of whether they have to make the second crucial pit stop will be, well, race making or race breaking.
Well, it's going to be one hot battle. Oh, look, we've got an onboard camera. Oh, no, it's just the men stood on the grid, isn't it? That's what it is. I thought we were having an onboard camera on the police car, but we didn't.
Wishful thinking.
As the cars roll out for the start procedure, there's the Autopolis, and then behind it, some of the finest racing cars in the world getting ready for a real hot battle. 300 kilometres of action here, live, uninterrupted, and exclusively on NISMO TV. Thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to this one.
Oh, it's just going to be great. Things are really hotting up, and following last week's test where Honda really didn't show this level of performance, has it just been a qualifying fluke? Did they find something with the cars on low fuel that works? I just can't see them having the performance to stay there. Now, look, they're going to prove me wrong, I'm sure, but why a Nissan at the back? Did they struggle in the cold temperatures of yesterday? Today, as we can see, much brighter, much warmer day. There's so much, as you say, to look forward to, and that's before we even think about looking at that. Oh, I'm looking at just such a massive list of GT300 cars here on my computer. It's crazy.
It's going to be interesting. It's interesting to race Honda because there's a lot of rumours about the future of Honda in Super GT. Aston Martin have now announced they're coming to DTM. There were rumours connecting Honda-engined Aston Martin coming to GT500s. It looks like that probably won't now happen. There were rumours of a Toyota-engine Mercedes. That probably won't happen as well. However, the response I got from Bando-san when I asked him about it was a little bit ambiguous, to say the least. There are some, well, they're not rumours, some very interesting things going to be seen in the post-season tyre test at Motegi, just after the main Motegi race. There's the figure number 31 Prius. Looks like they're starting from the pit lane. Not sure. That car's been off the pace in qualifying. All looks ready. And the Leon Mercedes has spun on behind the police car lap. That's not even the proper warm-up lap. I don't know how he's managed to do that. That's just embarrassing.
And interestingly, the other drivers didn't overtake him. They had every right to overtake him, and if he had fallen to the back of the field, he would have had to take his position at the back. Because the other cars didn't overtake him, he can now retake his correct position in the GT300 starting grid. So I'm just looking down the list to see who is in the Leon Mercedes, and that, Hiroki Kurosawa. So Hiroki, very, very experienced driver, dropped it on the warming up.
And the Ray Brig. Was it the Ray Brig nearly taking out the Arta NSX, or was that? I couldn't quite work out if that was the Ray Brig.
That was as the safety car joined behind the police cars. There was a.
It wasn't the Ray Brig. It was the Kahin, but nonetheless, very nearly got into the back of the pole sitter. Now, it's just cold tyres. I mean, the Super GT doesn't have tyre warmers in, but it is a chillier day than we've seen. There's the police all in formation.
And certainly the pace of this opening parade lap is restricted, Sam, by the traditional police parade. And It's not a massively long circuit. It's relatively tight and technical, particularly that second and third sectors here at Autopolis. There's nowhere really to sort of stand on it on a parade lap to generate heat in the front. So hopefully on this second true formation lap, we'll be able to get more realistic temperature into the brakes and the tyres.
And it is notable that the cars are now weaving forward tyre temperature quite frantically, almost quite artistically, down the start-finish straight there, which they weren't doing on the previous lap. No one was trying for tyre temperature behind the police. And maybe that is why the Leon car looped it and the Honda had a moment. 7 rounds this is round 7 of Super GT, round 8 for the full championship, 8 rounds again next year. 2020, going to be more.
Marvellous.
I'm told there may be 2, or there will be 2 overseas races.
2 flyaways, okay.
Yes,
good.
there'll be. We don't know the identity of those ones. It will probably be Thailand, and I'd suggest Sepang would be the most likely candidate. Not quite sure if either of them have their contracts arranged, but there will be an extra overseas race. Going to see some more GT300 cars next year as well. There's a new NISMO-backed car from Kondo Racing that we know will be taking part. That's already been launched. We've been told the identities of 2 other GT300 teams that will be taking part as well, so that's going to be quite interesting to see when they're announced. Perhaps a very interesting new mother chassis car on its way. Not counted in those number either.
Looking where the cars are now as they come round their formation lap. This is all quite steeply uphill through turn 8, heading up into one of the circuit's prime overtaking opportunities at turn 9. And then it's really steeply downhill. 1 in 10 gradient, 10% drop as they run down from 9 towards 10. So we're going to be looking for lunges into the hairpin. And then this is one of the steepest gradients on any global motor race as they go down there. You can even see it on the television.
It's like Brands Hatch on steroids. That NSX pace car running around. One of the car changes that we know about is the Toyota Prius. The Toyota Prius will no longer be with us as we know it, because cars with in GT300 at least, with the engines in the wrong position, are outlawed. So they are building a new car, which will be powered by the Lexus GT3 engine.
Okay.
This has been confirmed to me, so we know that is going to be the factor. We'll have a little talk about Class 1 and what's going on with the Germans. There is some news on that front as well. And we will see 2 extra races next year. The first of those races will be in October, held in Japan, and the second of those races the first of those races will be in October in Germany, and the second of those races will be in November just after the Motegi race, and that will be held in Japan. 15 cars from GT500 will go to Germany, and the entire DTM field will come to Japan. The freighting details aren't confirmed yet, and nor are the tracks. But
flaky.
Yes,
okay.
They haven't quite worked it out. Well, the car's forming up. 2 by 2 here. 300-kilometre race at Autopolis. Round 7 of Super GT is go, and it's Honda 1, 2, 3 off the line, and they're still warming for tyre. They're still looking for tyre temperature, and Jenson Button has dropped to 4th position off the start, with the Toms Lexus moving straight into 3rd position, and the keeper Toms now with Nick Cassidy. Well, it's not Nick Cassidy at the wheel, I don't think, is about to get the move done, and he's nearly hit, and they have touched. He was on the grass, and there was contact between the Rabe rig and the keeper Toms, and the GT300 cars haven't even started, and the battles are already fully raging in GT500. The championship leader is in trouble. Meanwhile, in GT300, the Mark X is jumping out a line, not used to being so far up the field. The Hoppy 86 has no trouble into turn 1, nor did the Gainer Tanak's GT3 Nissan.
Nick Cassidy made a great move there on... Kaz Nakajima made a great move on Jenson Button to take P3 in GT500, but Nick Cassidy couldn't quite get the job done. And there's contact.
There's contact in GT300. I think that was the Mark X has turned down another car. I didn't see who it was he contacted with. It looked to me like a Prius, but I don't think the Prius should have been so far up the field. We'll get a replay of that in a minute, but there is trouble down in GT300. I'm going to watch my instant replay. Yeah, there is the Mark X. Now back into his more accustomed position of dead last.
The GT500 field can't be too far behind as well, so that's going to be another influencing factor on that super tight battle in GT500 when they come round to lap that tail-ending Toyota.
Oh, and Hatsune Miku now in trouble, running wide, pushed out onto the marbles by the Subaru BRZ. This is quite the race. Tyre temperature is nothing when it is this hot on the track. They really meant it when they said hot battle in the promotional material for this race.
GT300 streamed through turn 10 down towards turn 11. Now rising back up through that final sector. The little hoppy 86 there, slightly more nimble than the FIA GT3 car behind it, but the FIA GT3 car will come into its own in the first sector. 900-metre front straight, which they're coming round onto shortly.
It was a Lamborghini. It was one of the Manipa Lamborghinis. Couldn't see quite which one it was that got involved with the Toyota Mark X. We'll wait to see if anybody gets a penalty for that. But now, looking at the front of the GT300 pack, there's first and second. Looks like the Gainer Tanex car's going to have a run down into the lead. Little bit of a long shot, didn't quite make that one stick. But the hoppy 86 now very much on the defensive. Don't forget, tyres are going to be a big factor to play here. The Mack, Team Mack, GT86 is being pressured by the BRZ, and behind that there's another great battle for fifth and sixth position rather.
If you are keeping track on who's on what tyre, both these leading two GT300 runners, both running Yokohamas. Meanwhile, back in GT500, the Raybrigg car is really being kept on its toes there by Kaz Nakajima. Beg your pardon, the Keihin car being kept on its toes by Kaz Nakajima in the AU Tom's Toyota.
And yeah, the Keihin is very much being there, but it almost playing quite a nice tail gunner for the Arta Autobacks car, making the Aguri Suzuki's team, making a little bit of a break for freedom at the front.
Yeah, definitely. There's clean air between first and second there, Sam.
Jenson Button very much needs to probably could very much be looking in his mirrors to see very full of Lexus, and there's a big train of GT500 cars behind him. I think he's holding up the field quite a lot.
There certainly was a little bit of contact there between Nick Cassidy and Jenson Button. Whether that's damaged their cars at all and not the wheel alignment out, we'll have to wait and see if that has an influencing performance factor later in the race. But as you say, for now, Jenson is the leader of the train on the left-hand side of the screen there, and all the other runners behind him very close attendance.
Well, we've gone back to the split screen, which we only really get at the start, so that means the action is really good throughout the field. And this race has got the makings of being quite wild throughout. 3 laps of 65 complete. I think there's going to be quite a lot more laps of action to go. Will it be a one-stop race? Will it be a two-stop race? That could explain Jenson Button's lack of speed. They could be going for a one-stop, others could be going for a two, and that could also explain quite a lot of this field shuffling.
He always was a master of looking after his tyres, and the circuit, it's very, very technical. 16, 17 corners here, a mixture of widths, and as you say, it is super abrasive, so we'll have to wait and see.
Well, the K-Tunes Lamborghini, so the K-Tunes Lexus and that Lamborghini there are having a great battle, but when you're looking at Hatsune Miku battling with the NSX there as well, well, it's 2x2 battling. It's a bit like when NASCAR changed its aero regs in there are these 2x2 battles and track limits there. Now, is Miku in a little bit of trouble? She's dropped back. The Lamborghini now going defensive against the Lexus.
As predicted, overtake at turn 9, then that run down the hill, super steep down the hill through turn 9 into turn 10, fast right into another long medium right here, and now we climb back uphill, sweeping left at turn 12 into a double right at 13 and 14, then under the bridge. And there's updates coming in next year for these Lexi GT3 spec cars, and it's already very, very competitive. But the price of the car is rising to the consternation of some of the teams using it. So they're not entirely happy about the price, but it is extremely competitive at the moment. Was that a pit visitor? Yes,
it was. It's Hatsune Miku. I thought she didn't quite look happy.
I thought I was seeing something.
Well, well, well. Now, is this an early stop on schedule to get the two tyre stops done? Or is this a problem on the car? They've got the tyres ready. Front tyres go on. Didn't see any fuel going in.
To me, that looks scheduled, Sam. This doesn't look like a rushed, surprised,
Or
unsuspected stop.
Or did the TPMS show there was something awry with one of the tyres? Tyre pressure monitoring system. The cars have them. They can tell if the tyre's got a slow puncture, and they can make the change. Well, Nakajima, Le Mans winner Nakajima, we should say. Will he be in Super GT next year? It's very much uncertain. Clarity over the WEC calendar and the Super GT calendar. Got a lot of clashes. It could mean that a lot of the drivers who do WEC won't be able to do Super GT.
Which, from a fan's perspective, is sad, I think.
It is, yeah.
You want to see the world's best drivers in the world's best cars, whether you're...
And that's why you have to watch Super GT.
Whether you're a WEC fan or whether you're a Super GT fan.
Yeah, I think it's a real shame. So there's quite a lot of people on double GT for this year, and if the second half of the season, it's the latter part of the 2019 season that's the issue, not the first half so much, that will cause the issues. But yeah, we could see some pretty major driver changes in all the manufacturers. Though I'm pretty certain we're going to see the number 23 remain the same as it ever is.
As it ever is.
Yeah.
And it's remained almost the same as it has on the grid as well. It's still there in the penultimate grid slot.
But look at that, just behind the Wed Sport car, moving his way up, 11th position, well that's his starting position actually, not moving at all, is Jan Mardenborough, but he's got a lot of traffic just behind the Wed Sport car. But it wouldn't take him very long to get into this battle between the Motul sponsored NSX GT and the Zensarumo Lexus,
which started 6th and 7th, 6th and 8th, and now battling over 6th position.
Oh, this battle's going to have an extra Lexus in the fight now.
One Lexus, many Lexus?
Lexi. Gotta be. Even if it's not, it still has to be. Mr. Partridge is to thank for that. See, now, Nakayama in the K-Tunes car, that's the black and yellow Lexus you can see just tucked up behind the Lamborghini there. He seems to be having a good think about where to make a pass. But is he thinking too much and letting the other Lexus get up onto his tail a bit much and he's not spotted him coming?
I think so, yeah. Certainly from an observer's perspective here. Have we seen a place change there?
No, we haven't, but we very nearly did. I think that is the back of the GT300 field. Yes, it is. There's the Toyota Mark X.
Right, rock and roll. Here we go, folks. This is the GT500s coming through 20-something GT300s on one of the most tight, twisty, technical circuits the calendar visits.
Now, I'm not a smoker, but I do know the width of a cigarette paper, and that is what was between the Tom's Lexus there and the back of the Honda.
Nice.
That was super close racing. But now, this is the real fascination of Super GT for me, when you're suddenly working your way through, the GT500s are working their way through the GT300 field. These guys are having their own battle, and there's quite a lot of cars out of position in GT300 in this race. And as you can just see, the Prius number 31 must have been, not the number 30, didn't give much space to the GT500. That thing with its hybrid power unit can just suddenly put spurts of acceleration in.
Oh, great move by Button. Brilliant move by Jenson Button there around the outside of two GT300 cars at that final corner at the fast left onto the front straight turn 17, and that's bought him 7 or 8 car lengths of clean air.
Yeah, and it really, I mean, that's really what I was about to say. It makes a massive difference how good you are in traffic. And that's what makes Super GT sometimes quite so unpredictable, because a couple of GT300s having their own battle, and there's a mix of pro and amateur drivers in GT300, unlike GT500's full professional category. There is a professional driver in Mintzilla, the lesser spotted Mintzilla, Mr. Lyons starting that. Around the outside of that goes Nakajima. But there's the race leader, and look, the gap between the race leader's fallen right down because of this traffic. Will team orders come into play in GT500 for Honda? I suspect they will.
Yeah, you would expect so, wouldn't you, with the championship standings looking as they are doing. But that gap coming down and down and down.
Now, let's have a look at what's going on in the front of GT300. That's the Team Mac car right on the back now of the second position. There's the Gainer car, the Gainer Tanak's car.
So,
he's lost a lot of ground.
Yeah, so perhaps the extra weight of the GT3 car now starting to work against him. The lighter, more nimble, more traditional GT300 cars, the JAF cars, the mother chassis cars coming into their own around this technical circuit.
Well, we have all three in camera at the moment. In front, that is a FIA GT3 specification 2018 model, Nissan GT-R GT3 car, and there is about to be that change of position which has threatened for a while.
Is it round the outside by Kaz Nakajima? It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it.
Yeah, it just got squeezed out.
Kaguri gave him the big squeeze as they came through turn one.
This is going to be one of those races where I don't get to explain anything. There's too much going on. It's great.
I'm just trying to see the gap there between P1 and P2. It's no more than 3 or 4 car lengths, and it has a GT300 car in the middle. The Gulf branded Porsche there. He's gonna.
He left some rubber there.
He's gonna hamper the race leader, I thought, a little, but no, he got cleanly out of the way. So
Kagure got very sideways in the traffic there, and I thought Nakajima was going to be able to capitalise, but there just wasn't any track for him to use. Bear in mind, there's a great battle going on for second position in both categories at the moment. We haven't seen how the GT300 one was going on. I'll come back to GT300. Well, when they get, soon enough, they'll be on the tail of that battle. So you'll have both battles for second on track together. And what are we seeing here? It's a replay of the Zent Tsurumo car wheel-to-wheel with the Motul-sponsored NSX. Making contact into turn one. And, getting really quite sideways. Did they both make the corner?
And a big lock-up from the Motul.
Yeah, there's the Mugen-sponsored.
Sorry, the Mugen NSX, yes. Mugen NSX.
Whenever I say Motul, I always want to say Autex straight away afterwards. But it's not the GT-R. This is Kagure and Nakajima. And there is the race leader just in front of him. That gap has come down. Then in fourth position, just out of your screen at the top, will be Jenson Button.
Just a moment of peace and quiet for the top 3 GT500 leaders. You can see that battle, that clog of cars that they've just made their way through. And this is going to be a feature and an influencing factor over the coming 55 laps.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. And some of these guys got to be managing their tyres when they're trying to get through traffic and not lose time. And particularly this guy in 5th position. Oh, bit of rapid camera work as Jenson Button gets past the D station Porsche. I think that camera work made it look rather more dramatic than it actually was.
You wouldn't know where to look if you were a cameraman doing this job, would you?
Have you seen the video that Formula One put out of the communication calls from the producer to all of the camera guys?
No.
From the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. Absolutely fascinating.
No, I haven't had to look at that.
Yeah, it's well worth watching, particularly when Vettel goes off.
P2 in GT300. All 3 of them still nose to tail.
And
P2's
nose to tail
side by side.
He opened the door and just got nicked. He was mugged there by the Team Mac car.
Yeah, that's not.
Team Mac are not normally this competitive.
And 12 and 13, turns 12 and 13 really aren't an overtaking opportunity. So perhaps that the bigger Nissan starting to struggle through that uphill technical section.
Yeah, and it's clear the Nissan is struggling here. Now, is it tyres or is it just sheer performance? You have the 3 different types of... he's weaving slightly. He's weaving for tyre temperature, I think, but also to try and keep the Subaru behind him. But this is the 3 different types of GT300 car. At the front is a mother chassis car. 1-make carbon fibre monocoque. A very interesting 4.5-litre V8 engine in the front of it. Behind him, an FIA GT3 specification car, exactly what you see in Europe, racing in the Blancpain Endurance Series. And there are 2 more FIA GT3 specification cars having a moment. That's the car guy Honda that's gone round, and Mintzilla. Now, how have they managed to do this? Mintzilla tries to get up the inside, and the Honda just turns across him. And round they go. Oh, and take off 4 cars go off. Bumblebee and that yellow. Oh, now he can't. Is he stuck there? That could bring out a safety car. And if he can't get that NSX fired up, well, there it is. It is fired up, but can he get a gear? Yes, he can. And he's going to straight into the gravel trap and get stuck there. Well, here's the battle for second position in GT500. The AU Tom's car, Nakajima, still trying to get past Kagure. And we're just about to come up to that GT300 lead battle, or second position battle as well, with the Subaru just visible there.
They're just going to come up as well in 2 corners time to where that GT300 is stuck in the gravel, Sam. So
well, we may have got out of the gravel by then, we haven't seen. But Car Guy Racing based just near the gate of Fuji Speedway. And car not there.
All clear at where we thought there might have been a yellow flag, but no, that's been withdrawn now.
And there's the Subaru battling still with the Gainer Tanax car. That Subaru is based on, well, the GT86 is a pure race car with carbon fibre monocoque chassis, which it shares with the Lotus and the Toyota Mark X. The Subaru is based on the production car. It actually has bits of the production car chassis in its chassis. Not very much, but it has enough. The roof, some bits and bobs, the headlights.
Not just the badge.
It's not just the badge, whereas the Lotus and the 86 are just the badge. And even though I think the 86 badge doesn't even actually come from it, but the Lotus badge is real. But the Subaru has real production parts in it. It also has an engine in it based on a World Rally Championship engine, the EJ20. Yeah, first, second, third in GT500 now, all compressed because of that lead battle in GT300. And we could see some lead changes with the Keeper Tom's car coming. And, well, look at the way the Arta car just gets away out the corner, though.
Yeah, terrific traction.
Well, that is a bit of a surprise.
Coming into turn 9, Kaz Nakajima might have a look here, Sam.
He is having a look.
He had a speculative look, and yeah, he's made it stick.
Oh, is it done?
Run wide, but the next pair of right-handers, the blue Honda's going to have an advantage. A little bit of debris being thrown up there, but no, Kaz Nakajima up into second.
It wasn't clear where that debris came from, but it was the wing mirror of the Honda that was bouncing around. Yeah, it was taken off by Nakajima. As you can see, if you look at the car as it comes towards you, it's only got one wing mirror.
Check you out in your eagle eyes. Awesome.
And there was contact between those two cars. It wasn't obvious as we were looking side on, but they did touch.
Didn't look morally hazardous from where I was.
No, it was just racing.
It just looked like a very, very close, clean overtake. And Kaz Nakajima now, it'll be very interesting to see if he can close down. If he can close down. Yeah. He's closed him down already.
He's got him.
He's going
for
the lead.
Wow, what a move.
Absolutely brilliant. The leader there, compromised, compromised by the traffic, and Kaz Nakajima now looking around the outside. Can the Lexus make it work on the brake?
Easy.
He makes it through, and yeah, makes the exit as well. So,
and the Cahin's coming for second position now.
Toyota up from P4 to P1,
and there's 2 more of them coming. So we did wonder when we looked at qualifying, is there a response from any other manufacturer to Honda's dominance in qualifying? The answer is a resounding yes.
And the Lexus was showing pace in last week's test as well, Simon. As you said, from watching trackside yourself, they showed pace, they showed consistency, and just looked really, really good. So,
and we haven't seen it, but there are moves going on further down the GT500 field. Jan Mardenborough now up to 10th position in the blue Calsonic-sponsored car. So he did promise to go on a mission this afternoon, and he's now begun the mission after some thinking about it.
Again, we're now just starting to get into the situation where the tyres 12 laps old, the degradation will be starting to take effect, and looking up and down the field we see different makes and construction of tyre, so the performance will start to vary. The Keeper Tom's
car, it's the Red Bull car, it's
right on the back from
screaming up, and I think it's exactly what you're talking about. The tyre degradation here is so high, and it's now beginning to hit the Hondas quite hard. They have struggled with tyre degradation in the past. They carry more weight than any other GT500 car. Being mid-engined means the tyres are specifically designed for the Honda from the manufacturers, but they are still harsher on the tyres than the others because of the penalties applied by GTA, the governing body of SuperGT. And the Lexus is really coming into its own, and the Zensarumo car is about to get the move done on Jenson Button. Is he? No, he thought better of it, but
the Lexuses look particularly better. Is that a word? Particularly bad? They look significantly better over the bumps in the braking area at turn 1 than the mid-engine Hondas. Perhaps the weight over the front axle just gives them slightly more stability in the braking areas. I'm speculating, but just looking in the braking areas, the Lexus looks a good deal more stable and potentially able to brake later than the Hondas.
Now just watch that battle between the red and blue car. It's not the red car and the blue car, it's a red car and a blue car. It's Jenson Button and the Zensarumo car battling for that position, and Button is under a lot of pressure from a Lexus as well, just like these two are under pressure from the Keeper Tom's Lexus. And just look in front of them. totally checked out. Nakajima has gone down the road, just disappearing out of shot as we start looking at the cars coming down the straight here.
Yeah, that's a good 500-metre lead he's got there, Sam, already. And I was just thinking, looking at the balance of performance and looking at the weight handicap, Jenson Button actually doing a pretty good job with that Stage 2 fuel flow restriction.
And there's that change of the lead.
Yeah, the move from the lead.
Absolutely just blitzed him.
Interesting to see he got a better run onto the straight. The Honda almost came back at him, but as I was saying a moment ago, the Toyota looking much better on the brakes, the Lexus looking better on the brakes, and makes the move stick into turn 1. And yeah, look at that lead he's got now.
Yeah, 4 seconds already. There it is. You can see what that means.
Bang, from nowhere. 5, there's another one.
Yeah, he's gone. I mean, he's just checked out. You can see the little graphic there, split second, but it shows what the gap was and how quickly it's grown. And look, Button now really under pressure. The Wedsport car's coming on. Here's this battle still. The Subaru hasn't quite got it done on the Gainer Tanax car. And I'm sure this is tyre evolution.
100%, absolute 100%. Tyre evolution, and the bigger car is suffering sooner. Makes complete sense.
Yeah, bigger, heavier GT3 car against the little, nimble JAF GT300 car. Purpose-built, well, almost purpose-built race car versus modified production car. It was great to see them battling like this before. Future could hold standalone GT300 races as part of the championship. There were interesting meetings going on between SuperGT and the WEC organisers.
So standalone GT500s and standalone GT300 races?
Potentially.
Okay. Wow, that would be
potentially. Not as a regular function, as an occasional,
yes,
or additional feature of the championship.
So to sort of supplement what we saw with the Suzuka endurance races here.
Exactly. Exactly that, and it could be quite interesting. Not the first time it's happened, of course. One round of the Asian Le Mans series was a point scoring round for GT300 a while ago, as we get a new camera angle. Not a particularly helpful one.
Has someone bought a drone?
I think they have, yeah.
Exciting.
How pointless. Subaru seem to have relaxed a little and thought about it.
So it's in this technical section here where the Subaru seems to have an advantage.
Yeah, and that's not surprising, this twisty section, but maybe it seems down on power to the Nissan.
Yeah, coming through the next sequence of 3 or 4 corners visibly gains, but as soon as they get out onto the front straight, the Nissan draws away.
It's that big twin turbo engine. Both of those cars, of course, are turbocharged. As you can hear the Subaru chatting away. That's the Subaru making that very nice turbo chatter. But it's interesting to see now how they're going to get past this car guy NSX. Now that car is out of position because he had that moment, but it's not a slow car. As we look back to the Keeper Tom's car, which has got no move done yet, but the Zensarumo now has been joined by the Wedsport car, the Yokohama shod Lexus, on the back of Jenson Button. And well, one of the cars in front, I didn't see if it was the Keeper Tom's car or the Kahin NSX with a wheel on the grass. And now the Team Mac car has got onto the back of the leader in GT300 quite quickly. We didn't spot that gap reducing, but the Hoppy 86 now, look at that, down from 5 seconds to nothing in about 2 laps. Well, that's interesting. And
looking at the body language of the GT300 leader there, the pink and white car, just trying to see if he's got an obvious problem, because to lose 2.5 seconds a lap for 2 consecutive laps, it's not like Sho Suboi at all.
No, he's not hoppy happy in that car.
Second one, very good. I'm going to start writing them down.
I do like hoppy, actually. It's quite an enjoyable drink, if you like beverages of that sort. Well, there you go. Let's look at those lap times. A 150.7 was the slowest for the Max Sayaka. We need to see really the same graphic for... Ah, well, this is interesting. Lap 16, the Wedsport Lexus is in for its first scheduled stop.
No driver change.
Yeah, that is a 2-stop strategy.
Wowzers. Hang on to your trousers, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that shows us how bad the side deck is.
This is going to be an amazing last quarter of the race as we see the single and double pit stop strategies playing out, taking an awful lot of fuel, so that it looks like they've started the car light on fuel.
Yeah.
They've run light, they've run fast. They're now going to do...
But they haven't built a gap up, you see, so that's going to they're going to go right down to the back of the field. They're hoping everybody else is two-stopping as well. Well, I think you might see some variance now in strategy, and that could really give a very unpredictable final closing section of this race. 16 laps completed of 65. Feels like we've had a lot more because there's been so much action.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this. We can see you in the chat. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We are looking at what's going on in the chat. It's just there's been too much going on track for us to be able to get to you. So we have seen your questions. We just haven't got around to answering them yet. I saw the one about the format of the DTM Super GT joint races. Not agreed yet. Nobody knows. I think it might be one endurance and one sprint, but that's just my guess. But meanwhile, sprinting down start finish straight here at Autopolis, it's Nick Cassidy trying to hold off Kagure, and well, what happened there? And the Zenza Rumo is on the Ray Brig. This is what I'm talking about. There being too much to talk about other things.
We've seen issues with rear visibility from the Lamborghini
and he's
before,
got him.
And the Kagure really compromised by the Lamborghini at turn 1, and now Nick Cassidy looking to capitalise upon that, pushing super hard, super aggressive as he always is.
And then just behind them is the Ray Brig as well. There's a GT300. That Lamborghini is in the way. It's not on fire, which is a good start for them. And, well, just moments of action here. You daren't start talking about and going to the questions in the chat because...
You look down at the chat and there was one car off the road, there's two cars side by side. Sam, come back, help.
Right, I'm going to do this very quickly. Formula E, there was a test at Valencia and it was very good. And Nissan was very quick.
They were, and it rained.
Yes. Hey, this cars look fun in the rain.
The second generation Formula E cars, they do look good.
And I think they look quite cool. Whether the racing's good, remains to be seen. We'll find out in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, that too. Showing up my lack of knowledge of Middle Eastern geography there.
Oh, I only know it because it was my grandmother. Anyway, long story. Sorry, I forgot we're on a broadcast then. Meanwhile, back on the front straight at Autopolis, 902 metres long this front straight. Sam, there you go. There's a fact.
That is a good fact.
Pop that one in your front on your fact sheet.
I don't have a fact sheet.
Factometer.
I mean that's high on the factometer. Well, the keeper Tom's Lexus fighting now. Very hard. Nick Cassidy. Oh, and there's Jan Mardenborough trying to get the move done. Well, with Heikki Kovalainen in the mix there with the Motul car, and he's just lost the position. That is not going to stay. That's not. Oh, and on the tail, it's the red car and the blue car. They're together. This hasn't ended well in the past. And it's been a while since we've seen the red car and the blue car racing each other, and they're racing each other for 8th, 9th, 10th position. This race is something else, isn't it?
Hideki Muto there. He's not actually running that much success ballast, only 16 kilos of success ballast.
And like the other Hondas, is now struggling for pace, and all of the others are coming to eat the Hondas.
Are they struggling for pace on out-and-out pace, or are they just being careful? Are the Hondas on a single stop, and the others are trying to push on with a view to making 2 stops?
Well, we've only seen confirmed 2 stops so far, and that was the Wedsport Lexus. One to keep an eye on. Reminds me a little bit of Liddon Hill, the way these cars are just kicking up dust as they go around in certain exits and apexes. Track temperature is decreased, but air temperature is increased. Which is surprising, considering it's sunny. High altitude track. Quite chilly for a Super GT race.
Yes, certainly not tropical, is it? It's almost like an alpine geography, but Jan Mardenborough off. Hideki Muto runs clean off the road.
But we got away to this because this is the battle at the front. Look at that. Well, there's battles right through GT300 and GT500. The TV director doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, I just would not want his job. Nick Cassidy looking to pick up the second place position there, but no, holds.
No, that's third position.
I beg your pardon. Yes,
we've forgotten that Nakajima's just gone.
Checked out. Yeah,
I don't even know what the gap was. It was on your screen a second ago, but massive gap off to the leaders now. The Arta car is there in second position. Third position is for now the Keihin NSX, followed by the Lexus. Just behind them is Jensen Button there. who's now found some pace and got onto the back of Nick Cassidy.
So it could be that the cars ahead of Button are starting to now trip each other up, and that will be closing up the field behind. But like, as you say, Button and the Zensurumo car, they're looking...
Well, the Zensurumo car seems to have dropped back a little bit from Button. He was
looking a bit more comfortable as they were a few laps ago.
Well, someone asked on the chat, I just quickly glimpsed at the chat, and someone said, what happened to Kovalainen? We haven't actually got around to that, because there's a car, that's the Prius. Which one is it? It's the number 30. That was the more competitive of the two, and that's well dug in. That could bring out a safety car here.
Yeah, that's just what we need to close the field right up. Is a nice safety car, because they're not close enough, and they're two abreast again.
And that is in the toe now. The Zensurumo's got a great toe on the back of Jensen Button. Button's going to go defensive. The Tsurumo's got up the inside. He's going to try and outbrake him. There was stability problems for these Hondas under braking, and the Zensurumo's car's got it done into that left-hander. Pushes Button wide. There's contact. The other Prius, the 31, they sandwich the Prius. Do they get round? Yes, they do, but it's not done. The Audi got in the way, and Button's down to 6th position.
Mega, absolutely mega. What a brilliant move.
But it's not done. Here comes the Wacos car up the inside of Button. Are they going to touch? Not quite. He's got to be careful now. I mean, he could win this. Coming into this race, people thought Button could win the championship here. The safety car is out.
Oh, right, okay.
Thanks for that.
Can you pour me a stiff drink, Sam? And we breathe and relax, ladies and gentlemen. So the safety car is out to neutralise the race. Obviously, we saw the Toyota stuck in the gravel trap. They can't recover that car safely with the cars at racing speed. So we get to draw breath. The cars will form up, and unlike other series, they will stop on the front straight. The two classes will be separated, and then they'll be re-gridded. But wow, what a race Autopolis has given us so far. Yuhi Sekiguchi, he looks heartbroken. He's not heartbroken, he's just angry.
He's like, gutted about that. They're the big losers here.
Yeah, Kazuki Nakajima, his teammate, had built up a considerable lead.
No, I reckon everybody's going to head to pit
lead.
Everybody's going to head to pit road, apart from the Wed Sport car.
Pit lane closed.
Yeah, but they're still going to stop at the end of this safety car start period. Everybody's going to head to pit road, and the Wed Sport car will probably take the lead. There's a Nissan Skyline, by the way, recovering that Toyota Prius.
I was looking at the small tractor vehicle. I'm a massive fan, and he got stood down prematurely. He was so keen to get out there.
Well, there is the safety car. Looking for the leaders. Way past the Leon.
"21 laps. Where did that go? If you're new to Super GT, where have you been? This is a completely standard Sunday afternoon for us.
Oh, we've had a mug swap thing. Oh, no, we haven't. Yeah, this is... It's normally Sugo that throws up races like this, but Autopolis has its moments, and today is one of those moments. If you've not watched Super GT before and seen the safety car procedure, it's a little bit different to other championships. There is confirmation that the cars are the pit stops are coming up. Ryo Hirakawa there getting ready. That's Nojiri already ready. We'll cut to another driver in a minute in the pit lane looking like he's ready. No, just a van. But you will see the cars all stop on start-finish line. The GT300 on one side, GT500 on the other. They shuffle the pack, make sure they get them in the right order, and then send them for a complete all-in-order restart, which is quite exciting.
I thought they would have waved by the Leon AMG, to be honest. So
they'll do that. They'll do that when they just stop the cars on the start-finish line.
I thought they would have tried to genuinely pick up the leader. Oh, look, I saw the Bentley for the first time this morning.
Oh yeah, UG Day. At the wheel of that car. It's amazing to miss something so big. There it is, car 117. Tucked up there behind the Golf Porsche. Not really a factor in the race at the moment. It's GT300 led by the Hoppy 86. It's GT86 is first and second, those mother chassis cars. And the K-Tunes RCF, which was once contending for the lead, is down to 6th position. The number 11 Gainer Tanak's car is up to 8th, good performance. The Lotus is hanging around in 12th position. Now we know that car is very kind on tyres. Nearly won a race here a couple of seasons ago.
It did, you're right. I'd forgotten.
And then had a tyre failure on the penultimate lap, and everybody was very sad for them. GT500, well, you've heard all about that battle. How this impacts the strategy of the teams is a little bit unpredictable. I think it's going to move everybody to a one-stop.
It should do, yes.
Apart from the Wed Sport car, which is on a two-stop. Has to stop again, didn't change driver, didn't refuel enough.
Correct.
So this is going to be a question not just about tyre wear, but also fuel loads. This is going to be your only stop of the race, actually. It's probably too far to go.
44 laps?
Yeah.
44,
For
3 miles a lap. Yeah, it'd be very, very close, Sam.
Yeah, I think
extremely marginal. Might be into splash and dash territory at the end.
I think it's more the tyres than the splash and dash. Oh, well, that's interesting. No, Sekiguchi was prepping. Now, I wonder if he's talking to Nakajima on that radio. I think he probably is.
Drivers just tend to listen, to be honest, rather than talk to their teammate during the race. You just have a radio ready that you can plug into your headset. So even when, there we go, you can see Yamamoto there. He's got his helmet on, he's ready. He's actually got a radio plugged in to his helmet at the moment, so he can just hear what's going on. He can stay in the loop with the rest of the team.
There you go.
But as you say, we see teammates ready up and down the pit lane. The pit lane remains closed and will do until the race is restarted, and then we're going to be into mid-race pit stops. It's going to be frantic in the pit lane.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, do you remember when the at Tsugo, where someone caught fire in the pit lane, blocked the pit lane, and the entire field was stuck in the pit lane with one car out on track, and that car went on to win the race? Because everybody else had stopped and he hadn't. Wed Sport must be hoping for that. They don't need fuel, they don't need tyres. Stopped 4 laps ago. There it is. Just behind the 2 leading GT86s. Those mother chassis cars. Quite a few of them around now, being used for other purposes. An electric car, an all-electric car, was built using one of these mother chassis.
So, as we've got a moment, alternative forms of propulsion. GT300s, are we going to see a change from regular petroleum to something slightly more exciting?
Oh, I couldn't possibly say anything about that.
Oh, okay. Is that still a secret? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So they're not going to be powered by a large rubber band, and there's a little bit of vapour there from the back of.
No, is that just breathing oil a bit heavily, or?
I wouldn't.
It's too slow to be bottoming.
It certainly looked like it was breathing, but I wouldn't expect it to be breathing with that amount of load on the cars. You're cruising round with your engine in a very, very lean engine mode, trying to use as little fuel as you possibly can do. Yeah, very unusual.
Championship implications, as things stand at the moment. It's a little bit irrelevant because this is not how the race will finish. It won't finish anything like this, I suspect. But Jetson Button's championship lead all but eroded there by Nojiri and Izawa. And there's still a Honda 1-2 at the top of the title chase, but I don't think that's how things will end. There's the Motor. That's not the Motor Tech car, actually, it's number 3. The white car, the Craft Sports. A bit of smoke coming out of one of the Lexuses there as well. Quite a lot of smoke. Might just be a bit of brake dust.
Yeah. Yeah, the drivers will be braking and accelerating to keep a bit of heat in the front wheels and front tyres.
It's Michelin shod Motor Ortec GT-R. Be very interesting to see how that gets on, working its way back through the field. Here they go. So the cars will now stop on the start-finish line, and the officials will wave by cars that are out of sequence once they've got them all stopped and sorted. So that'll be the Leon, the Lotus, the Porsche. Yeah, there you go. He's waving through the Leon. Doesn't want that. Doesn't want a Lotus. Doesn't fancy a Porsche. Bentley's a bit too big for him. BMW's probably a bit too orange. Audi, used to have a wonky sticker. There's the Prius. He's going to have to do a lot of waving by before he gets to the actual car, isn't he? Where is the race? Where are the race leading
still haven't seen
86s?
Nope, still not yet.
There they are.
Yeah, just coming onto the front
That's
straight
the pair of them. So they've got wave off. Almost the entire GT300 field is going to get a wave by, as the sound of the track seems to have just taken a moment. There you go. That was the microphone taking its mid-race.
Oh, it's just buffering.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
There it is, the Hoppy 86. It's the same car, obviously the number 25, that was the former championship winner, that was as VVAC. Oh, I don't think he realised he had to stop. Stay there, mate. You're leading. And there is the fields. And they're setting off now the GT500 pack, you see? And Nick Cassidy fancying a run on the caking car. You're not allowed to do that at that point, Nick. It's against the rules. And the GT500 cars will snake around the track until they decide to go back to green. I think as soon as it goes back to green, you'll see most of the field head to pit road. 23 laps, it'll probably be about lap 25. Loads of pit stops. And there will be a bit of a pit stop battle. Hot battle on pit road. And if they all do decide to dive for the pits, the big winner here is the Wacos, not the Wacos, the Wedsport.
Wedsport, Lexus,
Wedsport
yes.
Team Bando. Now, Hatsune Miku, we're not quite sure what that earlier pit stop was for. I could actually just go and look on their Twitter feed, but haven't. I think I will now. But that early pit stop was for. And if it was a routine stop, they could be quite well positioned as well.
It wouldn't have been the first time that we've seen them do a very, very early stop to get just one of their mandatory stops done and dusted. And it gets them, particularly on a technical track like this, it gets them out of the busy flow of traffic. They can enjoy some clear running for the first 6 or 7 laps.
4-tyre stop for Good Smile Racing. Doesn't really say why. It just says, I was in the pits. Yes, we know. And no real information. That car dropped down to 20th position, worked its way back up. It's to 23rd, so it's sitting in 23rd position. Hatsune Miku. Popular car with the Atasha livery. Atasha liveries need to be more widespread. I think.
I was just thinking when the Hoppy car came onto the grid there, that's a real traditional retro.
It's cool though.
Yeah, it really is good.
I do love the Nissan, the Works Nissan red with the white stripes. It's pretty cool as well.
Yep.
But I would like to see like a Bob Neville one-off Atasha in the British GT. British GT, of course, along with various other racing you can watch here on NISMO TV. Don't forget like and subscribe. Quite a lot of content online already about the
Quite a lot
about the new Formula E
sorry
project. With there's a Valencia test update on there I noticed earlier on that's gone up today, and I think we've got some great behind the scenes videos on that coming up. There is one telling the history of Nissan and electric cars, which is a really nice video that I don't think that's come out yet. And there's a lot more behind the scenes and historic videos in SuperGT. Let's have a look at what this means for the GT300 Championship, and when everything gets a bit closer, but not
and
really
for the first time in a long, long time, we see the BMW M6 headed. They fall from the long-time championship leading position down to P2.
I spoke to Sean Walking Show at Motegi.
How is he?
He seemed pretty relaxed, chilled out.
Good.
Didn't seem too fussed. Some interesting paddock visitors at Motegi as well, looking for drives. Stuart Moore.
Okay, yes.
Was claimed initially to be on holiday with his girlfriend, and I said, "Where's your girlfriend?" I said, "She's in Bali." You're looking for a drive? Yes. He wants to get out and be racing in Super GT next season, or as soon as possible. He's seen the action here on NISMO TV. He's commentated on the action here on NISMO TV.
Look at the quality and quantity of that field.
Yeah.
Sam. When you think that pit lane, that front straight and pit lane's almost a kilometre long. Like, oh yes, there you go, 54 cars, nose to tail.
And I think about 53 of them are going to head to pit to make pit stops imminently. The pits are, as you can see, closed at the moment. They will open just before the track goes green, or as the track goes green.
Yes.
They used to be open behind safety cars, but then we had that big carambolage at Sugo. You can watch all those old races on NISMO TV. We keep them all up there for posterity, so you can, if you have a board in the winter, you can watch seasons worth of Super GT. whenever you fancy it.
If ever you need your fix of multiple years of racing and 2 Spa 24 hours back-to-back over a rainy weekend, they're all there to watch.
You will have British GT, Blancpain Endurance, Blancpain Sprint,
Blancpain Asia.
Blancpain GT Asia, the KCMG team, Suge Matsuda driving that, as well as GT500. Formula E updates, historic cars. The NISMO Festival is coming up in December. Make sure you get that in your diary. 2nd of December, I believe that is.
Are we going on holiday in Japan in December? Has that been confirmed yet? Sorry, are we going to go there working?
Yes, we are going, hopefully, to work in Japan and not at all enjoy being in Japan and eating lovely food.
Okay, so here we go. Safety car in this lap.
Now, it's interesting because Nakajima is backing up the field. He's going to go back racing, but is he going to race straight into pit road? I don't think he will, but the pit stops are not far away. 25 laps on the board. If anybody's two stopping, they will have to pit now. They'll be out of fuel and tyres. Different tyre compounds for each manufacturer. Hard, medium and soft. 4 different tyre manufacturers. So who knows what's running on anything. We never get that information until after the race. But Nakajima puts the foot down and away he goes.
2 corners from home, coming round. The long right-hander here at turn 16, then a quick flick left at 17 onto the front straight. And there we go. Green light, Sam. Green light. And, yeah, I thought he was going to go for the pits for a moment.
I thought so as well. Yeah, that is Dennis Button is coming into the pits. So he didn't have enough fuel.
Someone off in the background.
Was that someone off or someone in the pit lane?
No, someone off in the gravel on the exit of 16, ran wide on cold tyres.
Oh dear, it must have been a GT500 if it was there. Didn't see who that was.
Who was behind 2 cars
replay functionality. I'll tell you in a minute. And there's GT300 field. A couple of pit stoppers there.
I think that was the Leon Mercedes of Haruki Kurosawa, but yeah, I would need my binoculars on to confirm. Great restart from the Hoppy 86. Really, really keenly out of the blocks, and a good job to already pull out, what's that, 4 or 5 car lengths. Brilliant.
I'm just watching the replay. I've got an instant replay functionality here. I'm just watching the replay to see who went off. And I'm still not seeing anyone. I'm still not seeing what you saw.
Wait for it. There.
Oh, yes. That was the number 3 Nissan GT-R GT500.
Chio.
That was Chio. I think he's in the wheel of that, who went off into the gravel. Well, the Epson car also in the pits. The Leon car. Hatsune Miku back in the pits. So that wasn't a scheduled stop earlier in the race.
It was Satoshi Motoyama who started the Craft Sport Motul car.
And there it goes, making its place back up. So yeah, he went off, and yeah, you can see now he's back in the GT300 field, which is not where he's meant to be. Here is the front of the GT500 field, with the BRZ battling with the Modulo NSX, which has moved up because of this. Well, it hasn't moved up, it was already there with the K-Tunes car. But the safety car's giving that. I can hear someone leaving the pit stop and coming in. That's the Keihin NSX now, in for fuel and tyres. So it does look like pretty much everybody is heading for pit road.
Yep.
Now, there is a bit of a dispute going on amongst certain people in the Super GT paddock. There's that broken wing mirror we talked about earlier. There is a bit of dispute going on in the Super GT paddock over who has better fuel economy, Lexus or Nissan. Some people say Nissan is 7% down on fuel economy to the Lexus, but Lexus say Lexus is 7% down on the Nissan.
Oh.
So, not quite sure. That's got to be an unsafe release, surely, with Mintzilla right there. That might be a penalty.
It was tight. It's going to be fascinating to look at the pace of Naoki Yamamoto. Where is he on the front straight?
Remember, when they come out, these on cold tyres. So it takes him about a lap to get up to pace here at Autopolis. Is that the Wacos car coming up behind? I think it is. No, that is
that's Yamamoto.
That's Yamamoto.
So Yamamoto on hot tyres coming closing down through the first 2 sectors on the Keihin car that's just come out the pits on cold tyres.
There's still quite a big gap between them. We'll see Mintzilla first, and Yamamoto hasn't caught Mintzilla yet. That GT300 Nissan as the Arta car comes in for its fuel and tyres. Well, the safety car has caused this pit stop cycle. So far, no Lexus in the pits.
No.
Other than the wet spot earlier in the race. And this shuffling should see the wet spot move into the lead of the race overall.
Do you think the lack of Lexus in the pits is maybe caused by them not being as fuel efficient as the Hondas?
Well, I wonder. Or is it
perhaps can't go as long?
Have they kept the tyres? I think Honda can't go as long, but Honda is reputed to have the most power now in Super GT. And as we've seen in another championship, Honda's engine development is pretty strong. And leaves the 8, one of the GT300 Audis coming in. There it is. That's the number 3 car, Craft Sports, Nissan GT-R GT500. The Bentley's in as well.
As you suspected, Sam, rightly suspected, the pit lane becomes incredibly busy now the race has restarted.
And the Cahin, they just get in front of the Arta NSXs. So that is a change of position overall in the race, I think. And as the pit stop sequence goes through, well, it was obviously without the use of tyre warmers, and only the chaps have to sit on the tyres to get through. Now that Subaru is still battling with the Gainer car, and it still hasn't quite got it done. He must be sick of the sight of that, the back of the GT-R. I mean, the rear end of a GT-R is a very nice thing to look at, but that Subaru really doesn't want to be looking at anymore. And that Honda is desperately trying to stay in front of the K-Tunes. Now they're both headed to the pits, as has the other Gainer Tannex car, as is the leader of GT300.
All going off in the pit lane in GT300. You can see that chain of cars coming in behind.
And those cars were in position order as they came in behind as well. So it is a hot battle on pit road. Now 28 laps complete. I think a lot of these guys are now going to go for one stops.
Yeah, this is we're approaching half distance, so yes, makes sense.
And that is the GT300 battle in stationary. And that's about them as spread out as they've been since this race started, actually. So the Hoppy 86 gets out as the tyres are changed on the second of the Gainer Tannex cars. Then here comes the Gainer Tannex car, comes out wheel to wheel, and they're side by side down pit road between the Honda and the Nissan there. The Nissan, they've both got position. They're touching down pit road. They've both got position on the Subaru. And the Honda's pit limiter was set slightly higher than that of the Nissan, I think, as the Leon car comes and gets them both into turn 1. No, it doesn't. The Honda hasn't seen him. Turns the door on the Leon.
Blimey.
Subaru losing out there.
Edge of the seat stuff there as the two cars came down pit road side by side together and then coming out onto the circuit on cold tyres.
And the Lamborghini now trying to get a go on the K-Tunes car. I think all three of these guys should be heading to pit road at the end of this lap. That's the leading Gainer car now. Now Max Saekin is leading on your screens, but he hasn't pitted. These cars haven't pitted either, so this is a battle for position. There goes the second of the Gainer cars. And now it's wheel to wheel between the K-Tunes Lexus and that Pertamina Lamborghini. Who will be first into turn 1? I think it will be the Lamborghini, but let's see. No, it's the Lexus. Both still to stop.
Still no sign. Speaking of not stopping, still no sign of our Lexus GT500 race leaders at the moment. They continue out of our sight.
For the Lexus cars, it's quite interesting because they're now safely one stopping. Everybody else is still marginal here. Speaking of them, here they come. There is our race leader, Kazuki Nakajima, about to hand over to Sekiguchi. Now, this is where we'll start to see positions going. As the timing and scoring system seems to have broken, briefly. It got overexcited as well. And I can't quite see which GT300 car that is in behind the AU Tom's car, but there is another car straight in behind. That's the Keeper Tom's car in as well. Tell it from the blue rear wing. So Cassidy out of that car. His teammate in.
Nice relaxed driver change, plenty of time for them to safely complete that. Obviously, the fuel flow restriction from the fuel rig dictates how quickly the pit stop is completed. Cahin
and Arta.
Cahin and Arta being really compromised there by the Lamborghini.
But they're trying to race out, and they're racing this guy for track position. Sekiguchi comes out of the pits with the Keeper Tom's car just behind. There are those two Hondas. Now, don't forget, these Hondas are on hot tyres. Those two Lexi in front are not. Keeper Tom's will be their first target. Will they get onto the tail of him in time before the Lexus gets tyre temperature? But at the moment, it looks like it's a Tom's 1-2, though Wed Sport is a factor in this race as well. Zent hasn't stopped yet. And I'm forgetting one of the Lexuses.
The Wacos one.
Yes, the Wacos car's out there somewhere as well. Purple and blue car. Rumours about Team Le Mans there, who run that Lexus, Wacos Lexus, that they were the team that rumoured to be talking to Aston Martin about running a car in SuperGT. It's suggested that the relationship between Team Le Mans and Lexus TRD has cooled somewhat. Not sure how much truth there is to that, but certainly when I put it to the head of TRD's Super GT program, he didn't bat an eyelid. Yeah, Mardenborough giving over to Daiki Sasaki. Sasaki in, Mardenborough already got out. There is the Zent Tsurumo car. So Denso, Heikki Kovalainen's car, of course, is now leading. But he will be on pit road soon as well. Motor Lawtech GTR in as well. So basically the entire film should have shuffled. The Team Mac GT86 still hasn't stopped in GT300. We need that big graphic with all the blue blobs on it, don't we?
Definitely. As the cars come onto the front straight, we're going to get the true picture of the race lead. So here we go. Well, this is the long shot we've been looking for.
Well, that's the second position Lexus, the Keeper Tom's. Zent is there, but he's going to be easy meat for the two behind him on cold tyres. Now, this is the difference between hot tyres and cold tyres. And they'll just wave him goodbye. See ya. Well, he's not making it easy, though, is he? Beaten by one Honda. Can he hold off the others on the cold tyres? No. But don't forget, when the Zent Tsurumo car gets tyre temperature, Team Mac being helpful in holding up the two Hondas in front of him. He will see. Now, that's who hasn't stopped. So, Wacos, Denso, Forum Engineering and the Motul NSX have all yet to stop. As I said that, the Forum Engineering car hit pit road. The graphic went away a little bit too quickly.
Interesting to note how quickly the Lexuses get their tyres up to temperature.
Yes. Well, you're seeing.
I was expecting the Tom's cars to be much, much closer to this pair of NSXs.
And they've gone.
And, no, they've gone. And the Zent Tsurumo car there, on his outlap, he was compromised for what? The first sector by tyre temperature, and now he's on it.
He's absolutely on it. And who's that just behind that is the Raybrig NSX. Has fallen right down the order. Still got some pit stops due. So that must be the more heavily fueled cars.
End of his outlap, and he's looking to make a move on a car
That's impressive. Ishiro at the wheel of the Zent Tsurumo. And he's going to get it done on the jury here if he doesn't. Oh, did he bump draft him?
It was extremely close.
Oh, I want to see that again. I think there was contact in a straight line.
Bump drafting in Super GT just when you thought it could get no cooler.
Well, we'll have to get we'll have to start saying boogity at the start of races and stuff like that. Well. I want to see that. I've got the replay running now because I want to see if he actually did it. It did definitely look to me like he got up into the back of him.
There was certainly a lot of dust and a lot of dust there as they came round side by side again, coming through the final part of Sector 2.
And we're trying our instant replay functionality, but that's the wrong bit. So I'm going to use my instant replay functionality. Now, I'm just watching that again, and they got super close alongside. Yeah, they did! I think they did touch.
I don't think they did. I just think you want them to.
Well, I do want them to. If they ever hit a bump at the moment, it looked like they hit each other, but there was motion. And Ishihara is doing everything he can to get by Nojiri. And yeah, he's going to have a run up the inside and finally gets it done. That is pretty impressive, coming out of the pits and then just mugging the Honda.
Turn 9, the hairpin before that downhill run to turn 10. Great overtaking opportunity and cleanly by.
So our leader on the track is the Heikki Kovalainen in the Denso-sponsored Lexus, but the Team Saad car hasn't come to the pits yet, which means the real leader is the Wedsport Lexus. However, that stopped on lap 16. And how far can it has to stop again.
Does need to stop again because, of course, they didn't do the driver change, and he will run out of fuel.
No chance of rain by the look of it. There is the Wacos car, so that's why we've seen a change at the front. There is another. Oh, the Team Mac car 86 hasn't stopped either. They're going long, so that's why the Hoppy is out on its own. Having stopped, well, it's about the quietest piece of track in Japan at the moment, isn't it? There is the Team Mac car heading to the pit road. So this will be interesting. Now you can see the front of the car where I was talking about the Toyota badge not being quite right on these cars. That's because there isn't a Toyota badge on it at all. As you can see. No badge. Just a little indent.
Where it should have been.
Where the badge should be. The Lexus, not the Lexus, the Mark X definitely has a badge on it. As does the Lotus, but none on the 86s. And that was Heikki Kovalainen coming in just behind the Team Mac car.
Oh, look at how the heat soak is just killing the brakes.
Yeah.
So as soon as the car stops and they lose that lovely through flow of cooling air, the temperature rises and rises and rises, and you can see the front brakes really suffering with that.
Oh, slight fumble on the rear tyre changer. Perhaps distracted by his car's smoke signals, but the brakes will be nice and cooled off. And off it goes. You can hear that 4.5 litre V8 engine clattering away. I can't think where I've seen that 4.5 litre engine before. It looks so familiar to me.
Looks familiar, sounds familiar.
You know, oh no, look at the gap between the Hoppy and the Team Mac car. Well, Hoppy's gone.
Gainer Tanax right in the mix there as well.
Yeah, that's the other Gainer Tanax. So we'll get now a slightly clearer, well, we'll soon get a slightly clearer look at the positions as the Zensarumo car now is on the back of the Keihin NSX. I wonder if he'll bump him as well. RJ O'Connell was talking about Team Mac possible for an improbable win. Don't think so, RJ. The number 25 car has got a big advantage over it now. So they're leading the race right now is the Wedsport LC500 Lexus. All pit stops completed in at GT500.
Zensarumo car looking up the inside of the Keihin car in traffic.
There's a Subaru in the way though, you can't drive through it, much as he'd like to try. A lot of teams and drivers just running the edge of this track, right out onto the grass. You see those telltale puffs of brown dust.
Old school circuit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really nice to see grass run off, gravel traps close to the side of the road. It's delivering us great racing. So often circuits nowadays, as we've seen, have been dumbed down with green painted tarmac, which the drivers climb all over. Here on the outside of kind of turn 11, 12, 13, the gravel traps so close and so unforgiving.
Then they put on Verstopper curbs and, well, Verstopped as a result.
Worked yesterday.
Yeah. Well, this is, real track limits. Just, have the grass up to the edge. I saw some fan comments just saying that you don't need these runoff, Bertie Baguette curbs. You just need to, we know everybody stops. The only interesting thing is the Wedsport, which stopped out of sequence to all the others. But you don't need those to stop people exploiting track limits, because here these guys are puffing the grass, but they're not going on the grass because it cost them too much time. And speaking of costing time, the Wacos car now getting a run on the Raybrigg NSX. Yamamoto, Button, Yamamoto at the wheel at the moment, but look at that, now under pressure for 8th position. They're in danger of not scoring any points here.
Which would, say, damage their championship aspirations. It would be...
Obliterate them.
Yeah, terrible for their
Well,
championship.
Obliterate them. It would just make it a lot closer.
Aspirations.
Be good for us.
What? You and I?
Oh, yeah. Get your championship going for another race.
This is true.
So the Wacos car, it's got to be a matter of time because it gets it done on Yamamoto. Oshima at the wheel of that Lexus. Oh, and there's the Arta. The Arta NSX is just in front of them as well. So Honda is fading persistently through this race.
The Hondas on Bridgestones are fading.
Well, Honda on Dunlop's faded.
This is true.
Like, for the last 2 seasons. No, it did win the Suzuka 1000, the final running, I think, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Only time it's really looked competitive.
I was going to say, we haven't really seen it since.
No. It's the white Epson NSX. We rarely talk about it because it's essentially the Toyota Mark X of the GT500 field, currently. And I wonder if the drivers in that car will stay put for the next season. Well, here's the battle between Nojiri, Yamamoto, Oshima here on NISMO TV. It's a battle for 6th position in this 300-kilometre race at Autopolis circuit. We're slightly past half distance now. Shadows are getting long in Kuwamoto as Yamamoto tries to get past the Arta NSX, which is now beginning to hold up the championship leaders. And the number 6 Wacos Lexus is looking threatening to take those points away. Behind them, there's not too much threat, but those Nissans aren't too much further down the road. There's the first of them, the Forum Engineering car. And I think there'll be a Nismo gaggle on the back of this pack sooner rather than later.
Okay, rising uphill now, coming up towards turn 9. This is where we could see an overtake from the Wacos car. No, not quite close enough this lap. But certainly, as you say, Sam, the Autobax car there really starting to look like he's holding the pair up behind him, and that was close as they passed our erstwhile GT300 leader.
Yeah, of course, the K-Tunes car is still leading. Lexus is still leading GT300, but that's because it hasn't stopped. And he's going very long, actually. Well, these guys are not going to be managing their tyres particularly well. Now we're getting a replay of...
that was
no, it wasn't the number 3.
It was a white car.
It was a white car. It was Heikki Kovalainen in the 39 that went off. I got the wrong white car. Well, these guys are not going to be saving their tyres. There's quite a long way to go still in this race. Are they going to be in tyre trouble before the end? One car that's definitely going to run out of everything is the Wedsport LC500, the race leader. His job now is to build up the biggest gap possible. And that gap...
Good day for Tom's Toyota so far.
The famous race team based in Gotemba. Only 2-car team in GT500. Winning the orange and white AU LC500 and the Red Bull liveried Keeper Toms LC500. Also race in Super Formula, Formula 3, and run a small Fuji Speedway only racing championship for little carbon fibre prototypes called Interproto. There we go. Long relationship with the Toyota manufacturer, or the manufacturer Toyota, and rumours linking them to a potential Le Mans entry at some point in future.
They've certainly got the infrastructure, certainly got the experience, and it's been a long time since we've seen a privateer Japanese team.
Yeah, Dome was the last.
The last, yeah.
But the slight difference with Tom's now is it's under new ownership as of the start of 2018. Mr. Tachi, Mr. Oiwa, Mr. M didn't turn up anymore. It was meant to be Tachi, Oiwa, and Mr. M. I don't know who the M was. Mike. Yep, Tachi, Oiwa, and Mike. And they changed the name from Tom's to Tachi Oiwa Motorsports. That was never the intention.
So the Zensaruma car just tracking the NSX in front of him. Here's our race leader, but remember, he did stop very, very early in the race and gambled on a two-stop strategy.
Kenta Yamashita drives for me in Motorsport Manager. And as we see, highlighted in yellow, this car stopped out of sequence. The key fact they need to look at is the gap, which, as you can see, is huge. 50 seconds. Has he got enough to make that pit stop? Not quite.
No, hasn't got enough. If he didn't require quite so much fuel, then I'd say yes, it's marginal, but he's going to need a full tank of gas.
Well, you are watching Super GT.
No, he's not going to. Sorry, carry on.
You're watching Super GT live on NISMO TV. It's round 7, live from Autopolis. And Rob Barff has a point.
He's not going to take a full tank of gas because he's not going to have to run that long till the finish.
No, he's not.
So they'll be tapping away on the calculator on the pit wall, working out the fuel flow, working out how many litres they're going to use per lap, and they'll short fuel him. So
he has to do a driver change, though. Didn't do a driver change.
Yep.
So the WED Sport car, lap 16. I'd expect him to see him in the next 5 to 8 laps, actually.
They could change a pair of tyres when they do the driver change.
Kimiya Sato and Matsui here, having an absolutely crucial battle. This is actually probably for the lead of GT300 as the Craft Sports GT500 car comes and interferes. This is actually really for the lead of the GT300 class, probably.
Yes. So
because there's quite a bunch of cars in front of them who haven't stopped.
Yeah, they're 8th and 9th on the road as we look at it here, as you can see from the graphic. But yeah, all the cars ahead of them haven't stopped. So round the outside, that's Sato.
Yeah, that's
for
a crucial
what will
move.
Be the lead.
Well, it could be the lead. Some of those non-stopping cars, like the Lotus,
can go super long.
And can make gains of the short, quick stop. So they could bounce back into position around the position of these cars. So that's the legal frontier Lamborghini. It would be the first win for that car if they took it.
Yeah,
I think it would be.
I've not seen a legal frontier Lambo win.
RJ O'Connell will probably correct us, but RJ O'Connell from Super GT World usually writes fantastic race previews. Not quite sure why he didn't for this race. He'll probably update us. He's in the chat, so hello RJ. He's a walking, talking Super GT fact book. And a huge fan of Japanese racing, as everybody should be. And we're about to see this battle for 5th position between the Zent Tsurumo and the Keihin NSX, which has continued basically since the Zent car came out of the pits. Working their way past the Mark X. The Toyota Mark X team, that team of garage mechanics from Saitama, must actually be a little bit disappointed to be out of position there. Their best ever qualifying position, and drops it on lap 1.
Yeah. So unlucky.
Sekiguchi is likely to take the lead of this race when the WED Sport car finally makes its second stop.
He's pulled a little bit of clean air from his teammate as well. We saw the two Toms cars running nose to tail as they came out of the pits, and he's got a good 100 metres between him and his teammate now.
Yeah, but are team orders going to come into play? Because obviously the number 1 car, there it is, the keeper Tom's Lexus.
Yeah, they need all the points they possibly can do.
They're in 3rd position in the championship.
The AU car
47.
broke down at the tie round. Broke down, didn't really break down, he just ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
At the...
Well, 2 brilliant battles just appeared on screen. And again, it's every time we try and discuss anything that isn't what's going on track. Well, here is the Hoppy car being beaten up now by the number 11 Gainer Tanax GT-R. And that's really crucial because that started way down the field.
15th.
Yeah.
He's come from 15th on the grid.
And he's battling now for what is 2nd position in GT300.
Ish. Yeah, 2nd-ish. And yeah, makes the move round the outside of turn 8.
Is that surely not going to work there? It does. That is the new specification Nissan GT-R GT3 introduced at the beginning of the 2018 season.
Blimey, what a move. What a move.
Available for sale to customers now.
Said a salesman.
Reasonable prices. Contact Bob Neville at... quite seriously, you can actually buy one of these GT-R GT3s if you can. Can't remember what the sale price is. It's on the internet somewhere. You can if you have the money, you can own it. Not that particular one, but one just like it. As the Subaru now is all over the back of that very spiky diffuser on the rear of the Petronas Cintium-sponsored Lexus.
Yeah,
and behind him is the Golf Porsche.
The little Subarus and GT86s look fantastic through this final sector as they rise uphill through sort of turns 13, 14, 15, 16. Look really good, but then lose out on this long front straight. They just haven't got the waft of the GT3 cars.
Now, the Subaru is the only official works car in GT300. That, as it is manufacturer-backed and is a formal works car. Not quite sure of how they're allowed to do that, but whatever, it's a cool car. And here's the battle for 4th position and 2 positions behind it. They're going into 2x2 battling, sort of
Back
developing
to 2x2 again, yeah.
Duck and Drake, we used to call it when we were racing stock cars. And sent it up the inside there. The Raybrig going around the outside of the R2 NSX. Now, I think when that move started, it was a good move, and then Nogiri realised who it was and thought, oh, I can't race him too hard. That's the championship leader. Got to help, and he's having a difficult race here at Autopolis.
Yeah, so the Arta car just run ever so slightly wide at turn 16, and our championship leader of Yamamoto there dived into the apex of 17 to take the position.
And now finally order is restored. The 2 GT86s are battling each other, but the number 25 Hoppy car, driven by Matsui, is now under huge pressure from Team Mack and Hiraki driving that. Hoppy just seems to not have the pace with this second driver and is struggling for performance. There's a Mercedes getting out of the way, one of the less competitive cars.
I looked down at my tyre list, and both these cars running identical construction Yokohama rubber, so it isn't the tyre.
Not all of the 86s are identical. There are different upgrade packages offered by Dome, who design and manufacture this car. Oh, the GT300 hasn't spotted that GT500. Well, there's the Zensurume car finally getting it done.
Yeah, down the inside of Keihin, as we suspected at turn 9.
I love the fact we have to have replays to keep up with what's going on track. And the Raybrig's on the move now, look. Just behind the there it is. The Raybrig NSX has found some pace. He's doing it in the same position again. And this is team orders. These Hondas are being told, look, that Raybrig car is on the move. If you see it coming, get out of the way.
Yamamoto is fast as well, isn't he?
He is.
He's so quick and aggressive. I love the fact he's only got 1 speed. You bolt him in and he sort of just moves forwards. Catch, pass, catch, pass, catch, pass. Great stuff.
It's a strange situation where you put in Jenson Button as the sensible one. Haven't heard from Benson Jutton recently.
Oh, I'm trying very hard.
Well, there is the battle for 4th position. 5th position, 6th position, 7th position. I think 8th is just behind there. Is that the... yes, it is. It's the number 23. A rear beginning to become relevant in this race as well.
From 14th on the grid, they started all the way back on the... Ooh, big slide there from the Max Aitken car.
It seems that this battle between the 2 86s has become personal. There is the Gainer car as well, just behind them, the other Nissan GT-R GT3. It's the one with the white bits, not the red bits. Chasing it down. So this was the leading pack in GT300. The Up Garage car is leading GT300 at the moment, but that will have to stop. There's the little Lotus. And, now this is crucial. I think this is the ebb and flow of tyre performance to some extent, because you have the way the GT3 there, Nissan, just breezed past, and there's the BMW's really uncompetitive here. And he's turned it round. He's dropped the Hoppy. Well, I was about to say the BMW wasn't paying the greatest attention at other times, and smart driving there from the GT500 had got the warning. Now that's an awkward place to get a car restarted. The car is running. Now let's look at this. The BMW just hadn't seen him. He just turned, either did that on purpose or returned him. Very lucky not to take out the Team Mac car. Well, and Hoppy 86. That's an unhappy Hoppy now.
44 laps of front running for that car for nothing. Yeah, drops right the way down the field and very unlucky there. And as we saw, the incident triggered by the GT300 championship leading BMW, which did look to be struggling, didn't it?
Well, I was just saying it looked like it was out of place and struggling not too well. The Ikebukuro Autobac's car. And as Nismo just pointed out, he will be hopping mad. Quite right too. It either looked deliberate or that the BMW hadn't seen him, because the BMW had impeded a couple of GT500s earlier in the race as well. And I was beginning to wonder if the guy, I don't know, the driver had a... Sometimes drivers have funny moods, don't they? And don't perform.
The rear view... Do they run a rear view camera in the BMW, or is it a mirror?
I think they do. I think they... Well, you have to have a mirror, but I think they run a rear view camera as well.
Yeah, okay, so maybe he's just got a problem with rear visibility, whatever it might be.
But certainly not the greatest display of driving there from the BMW.
Look at this battle in GT500.
Yeah, but look, it's the Nissans working their way back up into this race. As I say, they're working their way into relevance. The Forum Engineering car there's the Motor Lawtech GT-R. And this is, you know, if you look, that's the Cahin car that was battling for the lead at the start of this race.
And the Arta car that led for a long time.
And they've now got the Nissan Cup on the back of them.
And they've come from 13th and 14th respectively on the grid.
No sign of the Calsonic car at the moment. I've lost track of that car a little bit in this race. Not sure. Since Sasaki got in... now the Hoppy car is in. That's totally ruined his race. Must have picked up a puncher when he went off the track. Well, they are not going to be a happy team on the way home. That is... Well, someone's been dragging all the dust onto the track. No, I'm not sure who's at the wheel of the Forum Engineering car. Is it JP Oliveira? If it is, I'd be worried if I was the car in front.
Takaboshi now.
Slightly safer then. JP is well known as one of the more aggressive drivers in Super GT, and doesn't hang around in making overtaking manoeuvres. Takaboshi, slightly more thoughtful.
Kamui Kobayashi joining the party as well. At the back of that chain, they're all going to be nose to tail now as they make their way through the final 3 or 4 corners here on the 3-mile lap at Autopolis.
Well, it looks like they're all held together by string, doesn't it? They're also, well, until they did that. Now, trying to go round the outside of the Wacos Lexus was the Forum Engineering Nissan. Number 23 thinking better of it. Who started the number 23? Was it Ronnie or Sugio?
1 moment, please call it. It was Ronnie who started, so Sugio at the wheel now.
Sugio at the wheel, so who is the more aggressive. There's quite a few aggressive drivers in this. So it's Sugio Matsuda, Kamui Kobayashi, Takaboshi's in the...
Oh, word.
Look at the battle through the traffic, the Bentley filling everybody's vision and, well, getting out of the way, fortunately. And the Cahin now being held up by one of the 86s. It's the up garage Bando car, which changes its livery at an alarming rate. And there's the Lotus. Has he seen the cars behind him? Yes, he has now. Threading a needle, I think, is what certain people would describe that as, but look at this. No, 23 gets a run on the Forum Engineering, doesn't quite make it stick. He had to do that, though, because right on his tail is Kamui Kobayashi, who's not going to take any prisoners either.
No, Kamui just went automatically in the wheel tracks of the red Nissan there, just followed through.
Well, the red car's Michelin tyres. Not surprised. Again, the red car has been a little bit oddly off the pace here at Autopolis, but looks extremely strong.
Traditionally, Nissan has run well round here, and when I saw the results of qualifying, I was genuinely surprised.
I actually missed this. So the K-Tunes Lexus has stopped 7 laps ago and maintained the lead.
Wow.
So he's out on his own there, look, ahead of the Legal Frontier Lamborghini, but the Lexus is in very solid position. and lapping faster than the Lamborghini. So the Lexus is in solid lead position in GT300. Very good strategy for a late stop from them. And well, somewhere in that, something happened. That was, I don't know who was in the very far off the graph. I think it's probably the Forum Engineering car, looking at the way he's driving. But now Kamui Kobayashi trying to get past Sugio Matsuda. Sugio Matsuda going very defensive and getting up the inside of the Forum Engineering car. That's quite a neat move, that, actually. Will Kamui Kobayashi be able to work it around the outside of the next corner?
Yeah, of course
yes,
he will.
Will he?
He's going to hang him out there, but he'll still
he's got him now.
Around.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Oh, no. Forum Engineering hasn't given up on this. Yes, he has now.
Oh, unbelievable.
Great. And he's... and it's a car park at the corner. That was a little bit over-ambitious by Matsuda. Got in the back of the Autobahn car and turned around Nojiri. I think he's going to get a moral hazard penalty for that.
Big winner from that was Kamui Kobayashi. Watch Kobayashi here in the penultimate Lexus, the white car. The red Nissan hits the Toyota and hits the Honda.
Yeah.
And the Lexus goes through.
As does the Forum Engineering. That pair just went, cheers. Well, that's not the finest moment. Oh, dear.
Yeah, that did look from the outside there. He did a tad
Oh, he's got damage now as well. Big damage for the number 23. That's, I think, the end for Matsuda and Ronnie Quintarelli's championship hopes for 2018.
Yeah,
they were in 6th position coming into this race. With quite a big points deficit anyway. I don't think they're going to be able to recover that now. But meanwhile, that's big contact there into turn 1, was it?
No, that
certainly
was
off. I think he got into the back of him, trying to avoid the back of the Lexus there.
That was coming down, down alongside the track at turns 2 and 3, running on the grass as we've seen the cars doing.
Yeah, the NISMO engineers, mechanics doing their thing, getting the fix done.
Did look like damage rather than just a puncture, but perhaps it was just a puncture.
Could have been, but nonetheless, they'll send it and pick up any points they can. But I fear there'll be a 0-point score for that car. One car that could definitely score points, though, is the Forum Engineering GT-R. Chasing down Kamui Kobayashi, still in that battle. The Wacos Lexus, though, not far behind. They did mean it when they said hot battle here, didn't they?
Yes.
What a race. Sorry to everybody in the chat. We haven't really given you any attention whatsoever. We know you're there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Just the action in this race has been a little bit, well,
frenetic.
Non-stop, really. Motorsport Meister says, this is great. I need to watch more Super GT next season. Yes, you do.
Where have you been?
We've been doing this since 2014. So there is the lead gap, and short lull in proceedings.
And will they call team orders, Sam?
For
the lead.
Yes, I think they might. I think if the Keeper Tom's car gets much closer to this, the number 36 car, they may see if they have to swap the positions round. There it is. That is the reigning champions. And they do have a title tilt going on. 47 points coming into this race against the Raybrig NSX with 61 points. And they can gain some serious points off that car at the end. The Keeper Tom's car, of course, and the AU Tom's car are our teammates. It's only 2-car team. And the track's on fire. Well, it's
smoking.
The track is
on fire.
Well,
the track is.
It's a dormant volcano, I thought.
Well, it's not the track, it's the grass alongside the track.
Or the volcano's erupting. Wow. It's really got it all.
Hot battle.
But he did say it was a hot battle. Sugio Matsuda rounding out the GT500 field and about to go a lap down, unfortunately. I think this is going to be a race he wants to forget. But going into Motegi, this is the car that has the outright lap record for Motegi. Quicker than an Indy car around the Twin Ring Motegi road course. The Fuji WEC gave us an opportunity to compare the relative speeds of GT500 and LMP1, LMP2. GT500 significantly quicker than LMP. Well, was able in qualifying. You compare like for like, it would be an LMP2 on pole in the WEC category, and then the next 10 cars would be GT500s. So you could quite easily now integrate Super GT into GT LMP2. That's how much faster they are than other GT championships, and that's largely because LMP2 and LMP1 have got a lot faster in the last 4 or 5 years.
Particularly LMP2 has really taken a performance hike. The speeds of those cars around Monza at the start of the year was eye-opening.
Well, the LMP2 cars are now quicker than the LMP1 cars were at Fuji Speedway in 2014.
Yeah.
Or at least some of the LMP1s. The Audi, I think, was the one to look at. Well, 5th position, Yamamoto and Button. This is what it means for the championship, but they maintain the championship lead. But look, that's the crucial thing. 2nd position, Hirakawa and Cassidy with 62 points. They need to do team orders, actually, but then Sekiguchi is in 3rd with 60. What's the team do? That's both the Tom's cars. Do you play team orders, but do you, and make your championship more likely, or do you play it fair with your 2 drivers?
I think you've got to play team orders. It's you compete in motor racing for race wins and championships, and there's a championship on the line there. Then, yeah, I think they've got to, looking at that table. I'd be slightly disappointed because I think Sekiguchi deserves it after he ran out of fuel from a really strong position, if not the lead on our flyaway race. But yeah, it's certainly going to be one to watch as we come towards the checkered flag.
Well, 51 laps on the board of 65 here at the 300-kilometre race. Autopolis, round 7 of Super GT 2018. You're watching on NISMO TV, and there is the Motul Ortec GT-R run by NISMO, and it's got a drive-through penalty. I'm not entirely surprised that was deemed a moral hazard. Not the best race for the 23, and just a bit of a wild lunge up the inside. Got the move done, but couldn't quite get it stopped, and got into the back of the Archer Autoback's car, handing positions aplenty to the Forum Engineering GT-R and to Kamui Kobayashi in the Sard-run Denso Lexus. And there he is for that penalty. I don't think he'll get too criticised for that manoeuvre, because he had to have a go, didn't he?
Of course he did. From where they qualified, he had to push hard, and I was sat on the edge of my seat for 3, 4, 5 laps before the incident happened, and it was inevitable that there would have been some contact at some point, and yeah, very unlucky really, and I suppose rightly, with hindsight, picks up that moral hazard driving penalty.
The gap is at about 4 seconds between the 2 Tom's cars at the front of the pack. And the race has taken a very different complexion to what you'd have expected looking at qualifying. Honda completely dominated qualifying at the start of this race. And it was coming into it, it's just really surprising to see that Lexus has come fighting back. Well, speaking of fighting back, here's Takaboshi on one of those Hondas that was up at the front of the field, the Forum Engineering Lexus, one of the winners from that move, that lunge by Sugio Matsuda. Now, what we haven't seen, because he's on the back of the Keihin car, was the Sard Denso car getting it done on the Keihin car. But he's obviously done that and set off down the road into 5th position and has really checked out from the front. And I think it's a matter of time. These Hondas just seem to lose pace as the stints go on, don't they? As their tyres wear out, they seem to struggle to keep it going. That track's still on fire there. I don't know. Is it a, what they call a fissure eruption?
I don't know. It's just smouldering away there. It's unusual to sort of to see the Hondas struggling like this. When you think about their mid-engine configuration, they should be kind of on their tyres. And here we see Takaboshi really putting the big lean on as they come into turn 1.
Bumblebee was in the way though, so he couldn't get a full run on it. Took a bit too much to curb into turn 1. Trying to get a better drive through turn 2. Going to have a run into 3 and 4, but not quite close enough. Is he going to try and go in the hairpin? I think he is.
If he closes him up as they come round and through 7 and 8, we could have a look. And yeah, I think he was lining him up into turn 9.
There's the crooner. Kondo himself is having a good look. Used to race a Micra.
Raced lots of things, didn't he?
Yeah, well, drove those. Yeah, but the Micra is quite a crazy car. You can see it in the elsewhere on NISMO TV. We took a look at the private collection of Nissan and NISMO at Zama, the factory near Yokohama. And his car's in there, looking quite amazing. The Group 5 monster.
Yeah.
Now, here we go. Battle between the Prius and the Subaru. The Prius has really faded in the second half of this race, contending for the lead in the first half, and then after the pit stops and the safety car, really one of the big losers. That is the surviving Prius. The number 30. No, it's number 31 is the surviving Prius, and that was the car that started in the pit lane. And now up to 11th.
And another driver who only knows one speed, the driver of that car, Kohei Hirate. Very, very experienced and also very, very quick.
Speculation about his future. And there you go, you see the Modulo NSX going around the outside of Leon Mercedes. Getting that done. Leon Mercedes didn't have the best start to this race, spinning on the warm-up lap. That seems quite a long time ago now. There's Masako Kondo. Still thinking about his Micra.
Is he?
Well, I think so. It's quite a monster, that car. Apparently he requested to drive that car, so they had to build. NISMO had to build it specially for him. Oh, the Cahin car still holding off.
We've just skipped back. a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah, it's the instant replay. I nudged it. I wanted to.
Buffering.
No, it's the instant replay button that put it out on live rather than on my screen. And yeah, well, Kohei Hirate, there is some speculation about his future. Is he destined to appear in GT500?
Be nice to see.
It's surprising that he's in a GT300 drive at the moment. I think he's shown that he's got the pace and the ability to be in a.
Oh, certainly.
In a front-running car, and the Prius is a great car to be in, and it's obviously one of the stars of SuperGT. And then fourth position is this. So we've yet to see a win, as far as I'm aware, from the NSX GT3, and I don't think it's going to come today. But that car is getting increasingly competitive.
It's definitely getting faster and faster and faster. It qualified much better than it had done before. Obviously, qualifying 7th in class, right at the pointy end of GT300, and yeah, picked up another few places in the race itself.
HRD are planning to introduce a major update kit to this car for next season. There is the Daiki Sasaki. Mario Nitta at the wheel, though, of the leading GT300 car, being chased by Daiki Sasaki's GT500 car. We haven't seen much of the blue car for a while.
No, unfortunately, it's since the driver change.
It's faded quite significantly. Here's what happens in the GT300 Championship. And Sean Walkinshaw still holding on to the top. He's back into the points. But Hironaka and Yasuda in the Gainer Tanax moving ever closer. So one to watch out for. It's going to go down to the wire at Motegi. And the BMW doesn't like Motegi particularly after we saw it completely destroyed there.
No, there we are. We see the BMW in shot. That will be, if the positions stay the same, they're going to continue to lead GT300 as we've just seen.
Yeah, if he loses many points, I mean, he can lose all of his points and will still be a championship contender. But every position he gains or loses is going to make a difference come that final round in mid-November. And there is, well, Takaboshi trying to go around the outside, not quite getting it done. Will he come switch back through? He's going to give it a go, but it's not going to work. But now he's got a great tow out of turn one. He really wants to get this done. Is the Prius going to interfere? Oh,
not
very
quite
close.
The Prius may interfere at turn 5. The next corner they're coming to is a long 180-degree right-hand hairpin. No, not quite close enough there.
And if you're thinking that he might have an advantage trying to go up the left-hand side of the Cahin car, which doesn't have a mirror on the left-hand side because that fell off earlier, the GT500 cars have all got rear-view cameras. So
here we go into the hairpin. This is as close as
very
we've seen
close.
him.
Going to try and go around the outside. A little bit brave. That's not going to work.
Cahill has to go defensive. Is he going to get the cut back as they run down the hill?
Better drive out. Oh, we've got the magic droney camera thing that isn't great. And he's got to run into the inside, and that's got... Oh, door was slammed shut. Like somebody angry with their postman.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Painted a lovely mental picture, though. Poor old Pat.
I think I've got a postwoman. She could be called Pat. I don't know. I'm going to ask her name next time.
So Takaboshi looking to just get a good clean run through 16 and then through 17. The next corner we come to the left-hander here. Is he close enough to make a move into turn 1? If he picks up a toe, he might be. No, not close enough this lap.
A bit of damage on the front of that Forum Engineering Nissan. You can see a little bit, one of the aero elements just hanging off in front of the wheel. We've seen worse damage. Round 1, remember, with the impaled, the shark fin impaled at the front of the Raybrig NSX. Ate one of the strakes off another car. In the GT300, 15 seconds separate the first two. There's 10 laps to go here at Autopolis. You're watching Super GT Round 7 live on NISMO TV. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We've got a lot more action coming up this year. We've got GT racing action from Britain. Is Blancpain Endurance over? I think it hasn't finished yet. Blancpain Endurance is done for the year, but you can watch the races back at your will because they're all on NISMO TV. And there's something going on in Bahrain apparently.
GT Nations Cup, of course, Sam.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so, yes. I'm being nodded at, yes.
Suge Matsuda is in the KCMG Nissan for that race. And so we'll see how that goes for him. Then there's going to be a lot more Formula E updates as that season gets close to getting underway in Saudi Arabia. And the NISMO Festival, of course, with the unmissable NISMO Grand Prix. And don't forget, the usually quite wild historic races that go on there as well. It's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. But first this, Super GT from Autopolis. And leading the way is the AU Toms LC500, but the camera seems to like the very beautiful livery, I have to say, very natty livery, of the third position Wed Sport LC500 car, driven by Kunimoto. Car ran a particularly interesting strategy, making a two-stop run and getting up to third position as a result, but the Zensurumo car now is on its tail, or not far off its tail, and hunting it down, but the Lexus cars have really shown their strength here at Autopolis, I have to say. They've raised their game.
Yeah, they didn't quite have the pace in qualifying, but their drivability and their race pace has been incredible. Really strong overtakes. They've looked particularly good on the brakes at turn 1 and turn 9, and they've carved their way through that Honda dominance at the front of the pack.
Yeah, and it's now a lot about the championship points in both categories. With the GT500 points, and this is important for those championship points. It's like they scripted this for me. As Mr. Walkinshaw gets the move done on the Hoppy car, which is completely faded in this second stint. As has the Mac car, and actually the Gainer Tanax, the white-bonneted Gainer Tanax car, hasn't been as strong as you might expect, but there is the GT300 Championship leader, and trying to defend that lead is Sean Walkinshaw.
Yeah, back into the points from their lowly 22nd qualifying position.
As you saw just off the track there was one of the course vehicles, which is officially a car. And that was the car guy NSX in the pits. Not quite sure why. Maybe he ran out of fuel or tyres. Didn't really see that one. But Sekiguchi leading this race, but closing slightly. You'll see it in a moment. Was that the other Tom's car, the keeper? Now Nakajima, he's won Le Mans this year. Will his team be allowed to win this race? 8 laps to go.
He didn't have the body language of a man who's about to win a race.
No,
did
he didn't. He didn't look too happy, but maybe it's just a bit pensive. But definitely the keeper Tom's car is closing up on the AU Tom's car. And I do wonder if they're going to be allowed to fight it out for the win. This definitely, look, 2.1 seconds. That's come down quite significantly in the last few laps.
Yeah,
the lead of this race.
Wedsport is
so far back now. It's not going to
10 seconds back. They're not really in the mix. But the two Tom's cars certainly, as you say, Sam, getting closer together. Two Porsches running nose to tail in GT300 as they come round to complete their laps. 7 laps to go now.
Some confusion about whether the K-Tunes Lexus has pitted. Yes, it did. It pitted on lap 40. We just didn't see it on screen. See, the producers didn't think that was an important moment in the race.
The race leader of GT300. No, we'll just let that one go.
Yes, no, the car did pit. We didn't see it on camera. So that car is leading the race, and by some margin. So I think the K-Tunes Lexus has got it all to lose rather than all, it's going to have to do something very badly wrong to lose that. Meanwhile, in the middle of a gaggle of GT300 cars, it's a Porsche on Porsche battle. Quite unusual to see in GT300, I have to say. Not many Porsches in Super GT. And the two that are battling each other. Well, Bumblebee didn't see that GT500 coming, did he? Just wandering around in the middle of the track. Bit like he was stuck in a room trying to climb out the window. And still hasn't noticed the... No.
Yeah, just meandering.
Yeah. Yeah, the run-up sports 360 Nissan GT-R not really looking his mirror, and I think that's exactly what Nick Cassidy was saying to Nakajima. Yeah, there you go. Didn't realise there was a battle for the lead, and that actually cost the keeper Tom's car quite a lot of time. Though they're getting together, but the relationship between Cassidy and Nakajima there in the pit lane didn't look like one that team orders had been applied. They looked quite relaxed, but they are teammates, and this gap is coming ever so quickly down. I think 6 laps to go. I think we could be seeing a change of lead before the end of this race.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a change of lead before the end of the lap, Sam, to be honest.
Not quite the end of the lap, but don't think so, but maybe next lap.
It was 2 seconds as they crossed the line, and it's already halved.
Well, it's nothing now. And here we go. I was wrong. Yeah. It's going to be before the end of the lap.
It's going to be at the hairpin. Here we go, down the inside. Muchas gracias.
Oh, that's team orders.
Yeah,
simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as we suspected, Kaz Nakajima's body languages was that of a man who just heard on the radio that his teammate had been told to let his teammate go.
And there you go. Yeah, that is like, yeah.
Kaz Nakajima with the radio in his hand, so yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy, and Cassidy doesn't look too... That's an awkward situation for Cassidy, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you've just been given a win, and you can't look too happy about it. Because the bloke sitting next to you really isn't very happy about it.
So now formation 6 laps to the flag. Who would have seen a Lexus 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, I mean, that's
not me.
A massive result for them. And that LC500 is really working well. I was talking to their bosses, as I said earlier in the race, and they weren't confident about this race coming into it at all.
I've just been really shocked at the lack of race pace from the Hondas. You know, they were super mega double quick in qualifying, dominant, really good drivability, really good consistency. Even with quite a lot of weight on the car, they were still fast. But come the race, they were there for the first few laps and then quickly fell back.
I was going to say I'd like to have heard the radio. There's the official car again. I was going to say on the radio that I'd like to have heard that radio communication as we see a great battle for third going on in GT300. It's Honda versus Nissan, and it looks like the Honda might have the edge on the Gainer Tanak's car there. Both of these new generation GT3 cars. When you see the old generation GT-R, GT3 next to the current 2018 spec car, they are quite different.
Yeah, very different. Yeah, I saw the two cars parked beside each other at the Spa 24 Hours, and yeah, the differences were visual.
I'm actually quite surprised we haven't made that video yet. just realised the clock in the studio is wrong, or we've been here a lot longer than I thought. Well, this is a good battle. I love the fact that these cars are two just so different. I saw a comment from one of the senior designers of the GT-R and talking about the future of the GT-R and saying, be more brick.
Be more brick.
That's really cool. But it's great to see two such different looking cars competing together. I have to say though, if I had one of these cars, ooh, someone's had a moment.
Somebody in the gravel, isn't it?
That was definitely somebody who's had a moment into the gravel. We didn't see who it was. I was going to say, if I had one of these, I'd quite like the yellow headlights.
There we go. Which obviously signifies a GT300 runner. The 500's running white lights, predominantly white lights, but
I like how the Nissans have got whitish lights, but they are sort of yellow. As you can see, the Keihin NSX behind with the bright white lights, but coming up the inside with very yellow lights, and they touch. It's the Honda gets through, but is he going to be allowed to keep it? He's knocked the Gainer Tanax off the track there. Well, that's the stewards are going to be looking at that. Yeah, we know you're third, but for how long, mate? You've got 4 laps to go, and that move was a little bit iffy.
Got 4 laps to look at the footage very quickly, and perhaps it certainly looked morally hazardous from where we were sitting.
The Prius is now trying to work its way and get. That's the 31 Prius. Look how it's working through the field. 4 to go. So it's great to see you all. Don't forget, 4 to go. Don't forget to follow us on @NISMO. On various platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Smoke signals.
You beat me to it. Papyrus, sketches, whatever.
Stone tablets.
I was about to say whatever they use in Australia, but you know that. Ryan uses stone tablets, I think. Yeah, so don't forget to follow us all on social media. There are some absolutely stunning photos and details from all of these races. Not just Super GT, all of NISMO's activities around the world. And I suspect there's going to be some great news coming. Well, there's a lot of interesting news to be coming from Nissan and NISMO about motorsport in the next few months. Yeah,
lots of activity ramping up to the start of the new Formula E season, which, remember, kicks off this year, Sam, just before the weekend before Christmas.
Yep, just after the NISMO Festival. And I posted a sneaky picture from outside our door here in the NISMO bunker a couple of weeks ago. And it is confirmation that the new generation Formula E car will be running at NISMO Festival.
Fantastic.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes around Fuji Speedway. So that's going to be, it's definitely going to be an interesting one to see. I wonder if they're going to unveil a new Leaf Nismo. That's the rumour I've heard out there as well.
That's your next road car, isn't it?
It is. I did say if they sold it, I'd buy one. So let's see what happens. All rumours, of course. Just speculation.
3 laps to go. No sign of this battle in GT300 cooling off as we see Kohei Hirate looking the long way round the Golf Porsche. No room there, Kohei.
And that's cost him because that Cintim sponsored Lexus RCF is right on his tail as well. He can't make an error here. And is that the Mark X sort of recovering, or is he a lap down? 2 laps to go here. Be nice if the Mark X got a decent finish here.
I was just thinking it'd be nice if Kohei Hirate does manage to pick off this Porsche. That would see him into the top 10. Here we go, down the inside at the hairpin.
Bonk.
So that's
no contact. Pretty good.
Very good. So that's P10 from a pit lane start.
Very clever exit of the corner. Held the car out wide to stop the Porsche doing what the Porsche's doing now, or trying to, is getting a run into that corner, and he's done it. So now he's just going to try and put the gap on.
Yeah, he will do. We're now coming into the section, the final sector of the lap, where the slightly more nimble traditional GT300 cars hold the balance of sway over the FIA GT3s.
And this is what the championship is going to look like, and that's why the team orders were played. Have a look at those championship points going into the final race at Motegi. Absolutely tied on points between the Raybrigg NSX and the keeper Tom's LC500. The reigning champions are up against the 2009 Formula One world champion. How's it going to go? Well, also leading a championship charge is that car, the orange BMW, up to 5th position, and just in front of him, no, just made the position actually, was the Leon car, but the Leon car wants it back. Again, a Tanax is up there. There's a GT500 car in the mix as well. It's probably the first time we've really seen that Epson NSX.
Sean Walkinshaw up to P5.
Looking at a championship in the face, and he's going to get that move done round the outside of the Gainer Tanax car, is he? No, because we're going back to the race lead, because the AU Tom's car is getting racy with his teammate. Yeah. It's the final lap.
Well, anybody would think, Sam, that they're doing this for TV coverage.
You think they might be? I mean, they're making a bit of a show of it, but
I'd really like to see the GT300 battle for P4, P5.
Yeah, I'd like to see that battle as well.
Sean Walkinshaw, his teammate, coming up from 22nd on the grid. Sean looking to almost get on the podium.
Real championship importance, that as well. But here, I think this is also a championship important battle. The AU Tom's car. I don't know. Was he just? I don't think that was for the TV cameras. I think that was just. I think it was just a little moment to say, I'm still here. Yeah. I could have done this.
Oh, I think he could have done it.
He would have done it.
And I think that 4 or 5 laps after they came out of the pits, when he just drew away, Seppuducci stamped his authority on the latter half of the race, and we could see by Kaz Nakajima's body language just how disappointed he was as his teammate was told to let the keeper Tom's car come by, his sister car of the AU. So
sliding around on track as well, so it looks like the keeper Tom tyres have gone, but it doesn't really matter because he goes under the bridge, and that means he's coming through that final section of the lap here at Autopolis. The reigning champions in the keeper Tom's LC500 Lexus come around to take victory in the 300-kilometre Autopolis race. Victory gifted to them by the 36 team car. There's the Zensarumo there, just ahead of the Raybrigg NSX, which has come back through the field. We didn't spot that, and he's having a go on this final sector. It's not going to work. There's not enough time left in this lap, I don't think, unless he makes contact, and they're going to cross the line for 4th and 5th. And that's 5th position for the championship leaders, and that puts the 2 cars going into the final round at Mateki absolutely tied on points, 67 apiece. No ballast, all gloves are off. It's going to be a real fight for the championship mid-November. You'll get the dates and stuff like that coming up after the podium. The K-Tunes RCF Lexus wins GT300 by a comfortable, really comfortable margin actually. Still waiting for the 2nd position car to come through, and who will be in 4th and 5th. That is important for the championship. There is the Honda working its way up, I guess, into 3rd position. The Legal Frontier Huracan Lamborghini got 2nd. We forgot about that car. Good race for them, actually. Very good race.
Very good race. And interesting to note, the JAF and Mother Chassis cars really dropping off on race pace. Look at that.
4th
FIA
position.
GT3.
4th position for Sean Walkinshaw in the ARTA M6. That's crucial for championship points. The Gainer car dropped back.
FIA GT3 cars taking the top 6 positions in GT300.
Yeah, no one saw that coming, and you can't say it was down to a lack of pace. Pure 1-lap pace now. Obviously, he's out on the. There's the race leader. Hirakawa brought it to the flag, not Cassidy, but Cassidy is now going to be on the podium with his champagne problems. He knows we'll be talking about it as well. He watches these races.
Interesting to note the amount of debris offline. And he's not only marbles, but as you saw, all the grass and the dust and carbon fibre dive planes, little aerodynamic tweaks and devices lying offline. Massive puncture hazard, and we did see a few cars making unscheduled stops for punctures.
Now, you're seeing them drive offline to pick up the tyre rubber. That's basically to help not just get a bit of weight onto the tyres, just in case there's any weight issue, but also raises the ride height slightly in case there's any worries on that for post-race scrutiny. I doubt there ever are, but it's just good practice.
Yeah, very rarely do cars get ticked off for ride height, but it does happen. We saw it happen at Knock Hill to Ash Sutton in the Subaru he drives in the British Touring Car Championship. But formation finish for Keeper Tom's, formation finish for Lexus.
It's going to be interesting to see the body language on the podium between the drivers of these 2 cars. the AU Tom's car handing the win, being told to hand the win and give away their championship hopes, actually. So that's an interesting one. Nakajima certainly didn't look too happy in the garage.
Where was Sekiguchi before he ran out of fuel in Thailand? Was he leading? He was definitely
he was competitive,
If you reverse engineer that and maybe imagine he had a litre more fuel for that last lap and made it to the flag, they would be right. Oh, sorry, he would be right there.
See that the celebrations are not they're not as big as you might see, but I'd like to see the reaction to the other team. It might take a little while because they've got to do the finger stuff. We will get an interview from Nick Cassidy in English, and we'll also have all the interviews in Japanese, though translation I've heard isn't ideal.
A lovely little view of Nick Cassidy's body language there. You can see he's absolutely buzzing. He's delighted.
Yeah.
They've really come back like a phoenix from the flames in terms of this championship. They were a long way down at one point, and coming right back into the championship battle, leading the point standings and head-to-head with Jenson Button and Yamamoto going into the final round. As you say, all gloves off. If you haven't clicked like, if you haven't clicked subscribe, why not?
Yeah, do it. Oh, the engine cowl coming off, that must be the Prius with the cowl that shape coming off. I think there might have been a bit of a fire issue.
More of a smolder.
Was it one of the GT500 Hondas actually?
It was certainly. It was a mid-engine cowl, wasn't it?
Certainly, there's a lot of attention being paid to the back end of one of those cars that's just stopped. Stay with us for the podium ceremonies and the race recap. There's lots to talk about still. We didn't even get all through the DTM stuff and the other news and rumours and gossip, so we'll have to keep some of that up over for Motegi, which will be coming up, of course, here live and in full on NISMO TV. As Barff said, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We're going to bring you loads more super content here on NISMO TV in the coming weeks. First up, we're going to have the podium ceremonies, the interviews, and from memory, the podium ceremony might be a bit odd here.
What do you mean, a bit odd here?
Yeah, a bit odd by Super GT standards, odd.
Oh, marvellous. I do like an eclectic podium ceremony.
I wonder what the trophy's like.
Well, I was watching some lesser-known single-seater championship the other day, and the podium ceremony from the Suzuka Grand Prix was just so dull in comparison to what we have here in Super GT.
I think it's great. Now they're going to have some interviews. Look, someone's graffitied his back.
Well,
that's what happens if you stand around in bad neighbourhoods. I mean, that's what happened to you this morning outside the bunker.
Leave your overalls hanging up outside your motorhome to dry and somebody scribbles on them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's the finger shot. There's a wobbly finger there for Nick Cassidy. Oh, and a fist. That's real happy. Well, he's got to be happy because he's going to be back in contention. Jan Mardenborough won't be too happy. Not the greatest race for the Calsonic-sponsored car. Really faded in the second half. Not quite sure why.
And his teammate won. He'll be unbearable.
Well, exactly. His housemate. It's his housemate.
Sorry.
Yeah, his housemate.
Housemate, not teammate, dear.
今回のですね、今年のですね、オートポリスのですね、ドラマが展開されました。
Hands being shaken.
予選とはまた違うですね、ドラマ展開
ですね。終
わってみればですね、
Cassidy in English
ポイントリーダーに返り咲きましたキーパートムスのですね、お二人。アンカーのですね、平川選手から聞きたいと思います。
No, it's going to be Hironaka. I think we'll hear from first.
ポイントリーダータイですけども、ポイントリーダーに返り咲きました。
You're tied on lead points. How's that?
ちょっと知らなかったんで、今すごく嬉しいですし、
It's the nuts.
最終戦に望みをつなげられたので、すごい良かったと思い
Basically, but
ま
I
す。
think he's sort of thanking his teammate for it.
そうですね、想定してたよりもレースペース良くて戦いましたし、ピットのタイミングも良くて、同じの前に出れて、その後も36を追いかけられて、すごいいいレースだったと思います。
He's just taken the lead of the championship. He's just very thoughtful.
Nick, it's as always, it's a very exciting first part on your own. Yes, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's Super GT. You know, these races are so exciting. This is such a great championship, and thank you to Lexus and Toms for giving me the opportunity to be here.
本当にですね、これがスーパー GT の醍醐味、まさしくスーパー GT のエキサイティングなレースが展開できて、ですね、本当にチーム、そしてですね、サポートしている方にですね、感謝したいということです。Congratulations。そしてですね、
Congratulations. And the infuse moves on. The team boss That's Masanori Sakia.
ただ昨日から
Quite a famous fella in his sports car racing career, it's fair to say.
あったんですけども、結果的にそれを克服してもうこういう結果が出たのは本当に素晴らしいと思います。もうとにかくやっぱり車とタイヤとそれとやっぱりドライバーの4人のドライバーが本当うちのドライバーすごいね。
And how they had to make the decision to switch the cars.
そして最後にですね36号車を抜いたというシーンがありました。
はい、そこもちょっと向こうちょっと問題抱えたんで、その辺のところはうまく抜けたと思います。
No, I don't know what you just said.
そして最終戦に向けて大きなですねステップフォワード、ステップ一歩前に出ました。おめでとうございました。
Thank you, thank you, thank you. He took it. Oh, that's very old-fashioned. He took his hat off the nod to bow.
そしてこちらですね、300
Oh, here's the excitable
今
girl.
シーズンなんと2勝目を挙げました。
See if they're sponsored by K-Tunes. They should really be doing this in like Korean,
中山選手、そ
shouldn't
して
they? Even though they're all
影山監督で
Japanese.
す。まず新田選手、たびたびですけど、また20勝に
I'm
並
going
び
to
まし
look
た。
up K-Tunes.
そうですね。ありがとうございます。
おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Mori Nitta.
本当にあっぱ
Thank
れ
you,
な。
thank you, thank you. I got that one.
He's been around a while.
朝というか、
He's only 32.
練習走行では、
Yeah.
He
had a hard paper round.
Exactly, really. In a Ferrari.
Which I think he's talking about now, to be honest. Lots of uphill sections.
It's exactly what he was thinking about.
On a Sunday, all those supplements and magazines in there.
He was telling there was a guy who lived on the top of the hill who really, it was actually at this hill, so he got up to the top and then finally he got a car from Okayama Toyopet and it just seemed to work.
本当に勝てるかなって思ってたんですけど、雄一が前の車がピットインした段階ですごいいいペースでプッシュしてくれたマージンが
I'm trying to find out
それを
what K-Tunes is. I think it is a karaoke chain.
という結果がこうなって非常に嬉しい
It's a
です。
chain of karaoke bars, I believe.
そして中山選手だいぶね引っ張りまして、そして降りてきた時にペースなんか1秒早かったんだけどって自分でも驚きをね隠せなかった表情だったんですけど。
Oh, he's got sunglasses on. Do you get those on in the car?
はい、すごい長いスピードだったんですけど、
I think they're a fashion accessory, Sam. I think he's down with the kids.
攻め切ることができて、最後5周頑張ってって言われて、
What's fashion?
プッシュしようと思ったら、
Either that or he's short-sighted, and they help with
やっ
his.
ぱりこうやって最後まで頑張らせて。
I mean, the sun was quite low in the
一番感謝しまし
in the sky.
ピット作業もものすごい早くて、ピット出てからもう15秒マージンあったから。
And well, Yuichi Nakayama here telling us about his sunglasses purchasing.
新田さんの15
Oh, he's got the little Kuwamoto
見てるのがすごい長くて
bear on his arm. Oh no, it's a different bear. He's got a different bear on his arm.
思いました。
まあでもね本当に素晴らしいね
Is it a panda?
でした。おめでとうございます。そして影山監督、
Looks more like a
チャン
potato.
ピオンシップに望みをつなぎました。
そうなんですか。全然もうね、
There's the team boss,
一つ
Kageyama.
だけであとなかなか点取れなくて。
Speaking
Look
of
at the sunglasses.
Speaking of glasses, what's going on with that weirdo?
Yeah, that's the mechanic.
みんなで
No. Yeah, how's he working on the car with hearts on his eyes? We need to see. Oh, he's gone away now. We need to see his face.
本当に
I think
う
his
ちのメ
nurse is
ンバ
taking him
ー
off.
すごいですね。
No, no, there he is.
本当にね素晴らしい優
she's
勝でした。
dropped him again.
おめでとうございました。
Look at those
以上です。
sunglasses. Sorry, you've just been driving. You've just been outdone by your. Yeah, you finished first. We get that. Your driver's just. You've just been outdone by your mechanic. There goes the race leader's car being wheeled off. And we're going to have a look at championship standings, I think, now, or race recap. There's the championship standings. No, it's the race result. So the number 1 keeper Tom's LC500, gifted victory by the number 36. The 19 Wedsport car in 3rd, Sensory Remote in 4th, Lexus 1, 2, 3, 4. The first of the Hondas, the 100 Raybrick NSX in 5th. Keihin in 6th. Forum Engineering, first of the Nissans in 7th. Good drive for that car, actually, working its way through the field. The Denso Sard LC500 in 8th, the Wacos Lexus in 9th, and the 10th position was the Modulo Epson-sponsored NSX GT. Down Mardenborough and Daiki Sasaki in 11th, which is where they qualified. The Yata NSX down in 12th, really faded. The Craft Sports car of Motoyama and Chio in 13th. The Motul Mugen NSX was in 14th, and due to that penalty, dead last was the 23. K-Tunes RCF won GT300 from the Lamborghini, the NSX, the Arta BMW points leader, the Leon AMG. The Gainer Tanax GT-R was 6th. The D-Station Porsche down in 7th. The other Gainer Tanax GT-R in 9th. And the first of the Priuses. Really great drive for them from the pit lane start to 10th position. That's an awful lot of overtaking from that car. I'd like to see an onboard camera from that through the race, which they do put out now. You might be able to see some onboards after the race. There's the rest of the GT300 result. The Subaru really faded, down in 15th. After fighting for the lead, the Saitama Toyopet Mark X down in 17th. The Lotus has just lost its pace. 24th position for the Hoppy 86 after being rudely bundled off the track. I wonder if there's going to be any comeback on that. Well, let's have a look at the championship results as a result of that race result. And there you go, tied on points at the top. Yamamoto, Jensen Button, Hirakawa and Cassidy going in to the final round. It is now between those two cars only, I believe. And that is, I think, mathematically, Sekiguchi could still nick it, as could the 8th car of Nojiri Izawa, but it's completely unlikely. So it is going to be between those top two, and that is a great battle. Though in GT300, it's looking like the 55 BMW of Takagi and Walkinshaw are their absolute championship favourites now. Quite a big gap, 12 points back to Kurosawa and Gamu, Koki Saga and Kohei Hirati. In third position in the Prius, I think a little bit too far out of it, but anything can happen at Motegi, and it sometimes does. As we're looking for the podium to be assembled. The cars are slowly being wheeled back to post-race inspection. It's being Japan, it's quite unlikely there's going to be any penalties on any of the cars, because it'd be morally hazardous to do such a thing.
I think the only one we'll see is the moral hazard, the retrospective moral hazard penalty within GT300 there.
Yeah, I do wonder how they're going to play that, because will they give them some sort of penalty for the next race? What will they do? It's hard to judge how that's going to plan out, but that was definitely a moral hazard.
If we could translate the moral hazard document then from Japanese, then perhaps we could have a look at that.
The two moral hazard documents, but the moral hazard points leader we worked out was somebody who isn't even racing in the series anymore. So if it's eight morally hazard incidents, well, here is the podium, which has got nice little
certainly
laurels underneath the numbers. That's new, isn't it?
It's very. It's pleasing.
It's quite a palatial podium.
Yeah, it's palatial. It's got a lovely backdrop.
Look, I mean, it's quite spectacular. It'd be a bit risky in the wind, wouldn't it? Quite exposed. Unfortunately, there's low wind. The girls are primed. They haven't got their bottles with them. And Nick Cassidy must remember not to spray on the girls. They don't like it, and he got told off for that before. So we'll have to see if he manages to get this right. But first up, it's GT300, and here is the K-Tunes team.
I think K-Tunes might be a throat sweet.
You think it's a fruit sweet?
Yeah, I think so. I think it might be like a Japanese lozenge.
I googled it, and it came up as a karaoke place, but then I couldn't actually find what it referred to after that. So I think it's something to do with Korean music. That's what I'm going to say. Oh, the shouty girls are here. Well, they were happy about the J-Lock team, I think it was.
Shouting,
second
get
position.
Off. We want throat sweets.
Look at the sort of the ribbing on the top step of the podium. That's quite a sort of
nice attention to detail all around.
It's a bit like a sort of slightly decadent old American hotel.
Certainly a bit of dado rail on there.
Yeah. It's the Honda team. Oh, here come the trophies. Girl, take a selfie.
No flags for the Lamborghini boys.
No, Lamborghini obviously not high on their flag game. And in fact, they're commenting on it. Look, we haven't got flags.
They're embarrassed. They're like, please don't look at our race boots, because they're not synchronised.
Oh, no,
either.
they're not. Well, no one's got synchronised race boots, but they don't have any flags.
This is why they're in GT300. Attention to detail, gentlemen, is everything.
Lamborghini has let the side down here. If you know Lamborghini, look at the trophy. That's brilliant.
The trophy's got little wobbly bits on the top.
They're very wobbly, those bits.
Awesome.
That is a great trophy. It's got ribbons, it's got a trophy, and it's like they couldn't think of what to... And it's got a rag hanging out the top. I'm not quite sure what that is.
It's a hanky.
Is it a hanky? Yeah, a little spotted hanky at the top.
It's to complement their throat sweets.
It's like they got a proper trophy and then added bits. Like, let's put a cake tin on top and then some plasticky bits. It's a lovely trophy until it gets to the top. That is a good trophy. Well, they all got them. They all just appeared. We didn't see the trophy presentation. They're all the same size. They all get the hankies. Well. So it probably signifies some sort of... I think it's signifying some sort of food, actually. I think that's meant to represent a bowl with the food coming out and the steam. Yeah,
coming out the top
I think that's what it's meant. Oh, what's this?
It's a giant scratch card.
No, this isn't a scratch. What is it? It's a cow.
No.
They've won a cow, or bits of a cow.
No, it's meat products.
I think it's a bit of a cow.
They've won meat products.
They've won meat. Yes, they have, yeah. 2 very small pieces of meat have been won. Well, that's a surprise. Well, And there is the scratch card. That's the proper scratch card. 500,000 yen.
Honestly, I'd rather have meat.
Oh, it's a very small amount of meat, though. I mean, maybe that's what you put in. Maybe they've won the meat put into the trophy to cook. Maybe it's actually a functional trophy, like the whole bottom bit's a little burner. There's a little adjustment. Oh, and Mr. Orange Jacket's turned up. Where's his trophies? Is he not doing trophies?
I can hear a helicopter arriving.
That's their trophy. Maybe they win a helicopter.
It's being delivered.
Oh, no, wait. They've got the Autobacks trophies now. Well,
just appeared.
They are quick here at Autopolis with trophy deliverance. Nomorio Neta's lifting his cooking trophy.
He couldn't look grumpier if he tried, could he?
Their meat's been taken away. Oh, it's fallen over. They've dropped it. They've dropped the meat. Don't want to do that. It's going to get dirt on it. Well, it's quite dirty, that top step now. Look at it. They haven't cleaned their podium. Look. Still, Lamborghini failing on the flags. Yeah, if you're a Lamborghini person, you need to be writing to the Lamborghini guys and say, look, flags please. Everybody else has got them. And Mario Nitta really doesn't look too fussed by this, does he? I mean, he has won a few races in his time, but that's quite a trophy, and he's won some very small pieces of meat. Or a cow. That's either very small or far away.
See, if you're given like a meat hamper, you can do stuff with it. You can eat some, put some in the fridge, put some in the freezer, enjoy it over a period of time. If you're given a cow, what do you do with it? It keeps the grass down in the garden?
Well, yeah. And then when it gets a bit old,
needs feeding and stuff like that, though.
That's what grass is for, isn't it? It's a very small cow, you see.
Oh,
they've gone to take it all away.
We're going to take all this and just give you sparkling beverage.
Yeah, sparkling beverage. We need to find out. NISMO Festival time. We need to identify this brand of sparkling beverage
and do a taste test.
Yes, we do. We need to get Nick Cassidy actually to come and show us how to do it. Oh, is that two different colours? No, it's just the sun glinting through them.
There we go. Remember, gentlemen, don't go off too soon.
There's not enough bottles. There's a spare bottle on the side, look. Why is there a spare bottle?
No, there's enough bottles. There's not enough girls.
There's no.
Quick. She's. She had to double team on the end.
They're one of the girls.
Very good.
That's how far away this track is from everywhere. So they're all ready. Oh, the winners just didn't seem too bothered. Oh, he's still not sprayed. A little bit. Oh well, he's gone now. He seems quite happy about it. Very small bottles, actually, aren't they? Yeah. They're very small. I mean, they're all looking at each other going...
Yeah, they're really big racing drivers or really small bottles of sparkling sake.
They're all looking at
it. Really?
Where's the rest
Tiny.
of it? Are they plastic bottles? I think they're plastic as well.
Health and safety gone mad. I don't know. Well, congratulations to our winners. That completes the traditionally farcical GT300 ceremony.
No, it's going GT500. There's one man under real pressure, Nick Cassidy. He's had issues with this in the past. He practiced over the winter. He spent a lot of time. Will he be able to get it right? With the very small bottles, he's not going to be used to this.
GT500 podiums have really troubled me ever since we saw that large cartoon character give away its offspring.
Yeah.
It was like, no, don't do that. Don't break up the family.
Well, they've installed dinosaurs at Fuji Speedway now permanently.
What happened to our sportswear as well? Because and sporting goods. Remember we had golf clubs.
I know. I thought a powerboat was going to come up, but obviously not.
Kayak.
No, he's giving away his flag. Ow!
Take someone's eye out. You can't have plastic bottles for health and safety concerns, then throw pointy sticks.
Well, we're coming up to the GT500 podium in a minute when they find the GT500 drivers and get Nick Cassidy to do the health and safety briefing for bottle opening. I wonder if they'll put him, especially with a shortage of girls on the podium, he's going to be small bottles. He's going to be put off his stride here. Quite a beautiful circuit, this, though, isn't it? Japan, obviously, is an extraordinarily beautiful country, especially up in the mountains.
Extraordinarily beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Yep. And, well, no one there yet. It should be seeing... Yeah, there he is, Nick Cassidy. Hirakawa on the top step of the podium. Single flag technique.
Matching race boots. What more could you ask for?
That is performance. There is the team that didn't win but gave the win away. That's good team spirit between them, actually. I think giving away a certain win and a likely championship tilt, not championship itself. And then hands being shaken between it's all Toyota podium. Try to remember when the last time we had a 1-2-3 from one manufacturer. RJ O'Connell, if he's still here, will probably tell us. Lots of logos on them, aren't there? I mean, it's like... do you reckon they get new overalls so they just add more embroidery on? So here comes the burner trophy.
It looks like it does look like a rice bowl, doesn't it?
I think it's a cooker. I think it's like some sort of rice cooker.
Steamer.
And that explains the hanky on the side. It's something to do with cooking. I think it's something to do with cooking the meat that they get given, but not everybody gets given meat. So maybe you have to win the other race and get the rice, the bag of rice.
We have seen baskets of rice given away.
We haven't seen the fish heads for a while. I think that was here though, wasn't it? The fish heads.
Yes.
Maybe there's many cows at the top of this volcano.
Well, one less than there was this time yesterday.
We never quite had it explained why the track was starting, sort of just caught fire.
No, sort of smouldered for a while.
That's what's being indicated on the top of the trophy.
This smouldering runoff.
The track just erupts from time to time. So there's the small pieces of meat, actual size, or a very small cow. Actual size. Very small car racing is coming up later, probably Micro Cup at some point. Nick Cassidy's looking, what's this? I'm going to ask Nick what it is.
I'm strongly under the impression it's meat products.
And does it go in the burner trophy?
And ultimately go in his flatmate.
Here comes Mr. Orange Jacket. Yeah. I think there's a bit of a thing between the two of them that in their living room, whoever wins the championship or finish higher in the championship gets to mount all of their trophies and crash helmets in the front room, so the other one has to bear looking at it for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Why is Jan Marden removed out? Well, long story. Come and look in the lounge.
Nope, it doesn't know which one to pick up.
Nick.
Nick. It's got confused. I'll share the Autobacks trophy. What? They haven't dropped the meat, though, like the others. He looks slightly bewildered, doesn't he? So do we. Right. Crunch time. Cassidy in a very small bottle.
No one's got wood today.
Not today, no. They've got meat.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh. See, that's why he was looking bewildered. Someone was shouting, pick up your trophy, pick up your trophy.
No, the other trophy. They've still gone for the other trophy. Oh, he's using the burner trophy as a rest for the meat. It's quite clever, that.
I miss Van Halen.
It's playing live, actually. That's not.
Is it?
Yeah, that's just echoing down up the mountain.
How old is Eddie Van Halen? Things you didn't think you'd think about whilst watching the podium ceremony. He must be 70.
I have no idea. I don't know what he looks like.
Click like, click subscribe.
And it's more. Oh, he's run away.
No. No.
Oh, no, he's gone to join in.
That was morally hazardous.
He's gone and collected his bottle early.
No. He's going to go off early.
He's completely thrown Cassidy. Cassidy's looking at... look, he's looking nervous. Yeah, he's realised he's got his bottle early.
I think he crossed a line there. Everyone else isn't angry.
Cassidy's gone. He's going. Oh, he's going quite quick. Oh, he's gone first. He went early, but he's got his teammate. Everybody ran away. Cassidy's unsafe with a bottle, but it's reasonably good. No, he's been got back. He'll really stink on the 9-hour Shinkansen ride back to Tokyo now. No. These bottles are really small. They shouldn't spill it like that. It's not going to be much. These are bigger bottles, aren't they? These are bigger bottles. They've got the full-size ones. Well, that's the difference between GT 300 and 500. You get bigger bottles or smaller drivers. Oh, well, he's waving his bum at his teammate. I'm not quite sure why.
It's a traditional. What on earth was going on there? Waving something else at his teammate.
Yeah. Must be a New Zealand thing.
Oh, okay.
Question is, if Brendan Hartley isn't in Formula One next year, will he be here? Don't know. Next up, Motegi, the championship decider, the Super GT finale, round 8. Twin Ring Motegi, live in an exclusive here on November the 11th on NISMO TV. Join us there. It's going to be a bit of a thriller, I suspect. Jan Mardenborough's favourite Super GT track. Will he be able to deliver something for Nissan? I think he might. The car looked pretty good there in testing, and the pace certainly had. There's a giant-headed thing walking down onto this track, by the way, if you can. I'm not quite sure what that is. So there are some strange things at Autopolis that we haven't been shown on camera. Lots of nice cars there. I think we should have a look at what happened in the race. So don't forget, stay with us for hit like and subscribe. Join us on November 11th. We're going to have some good stuff coming up on NISMO TV before that, such as these arty sunset views of Autopolis. And that was one hot battle.
It was billed as a hot battle, and boy, did it deliver.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And we're just waiting for our race recap video to be played by the Japanese producer. And he hasn't played it yet.
If you listen carefully, you can hear somebody shouting, play the edit, really quietly in Japanese.
Yep, you probably can. There's quite some nice arty sunset shots. I mean, there's the grids. The photographers are all taking pictures of the thing. And so here is the edit music. And we're not seeing the race recap at the moment. We're just hearing it.
Very well dressed young ladies, just going from left to right there.
Okay, well, there was a race.
It must be raining. Nick Cassidy's under an umbrella.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a race happened. A race edit was done. The next race is at Motegi. Yeah, we've done that bit. Pressing the wrong button, I think. We're getting the lovely race recap music, and we could talk about what happened in the race. There were some accidents and things happened. And cars ended up on the finish line in roughly that order. Nicely positioned fire extinguishers just in case, but no one caught fire. But the track did, and a man looked in his helmet. Another man pointed. Hatsune Miku went out of focus, and so did Honda. Gritty reality. A man watched television. Another man looked fed up. Another man looked like he was an Englishman. Oh, the colours went funny. The marshals gave thumbs up. Tyre rubber fell off. A girl had a necklace, apparently. And another girl prayed for a good race. Well, she got one, but not for some cars. Mintzilla turned a car. Two boys had a fight. The cars were side by side down the start-finish straight. And a man said yes, 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 yes in English, even though he's Japanese. Should have said hi, hi, hi. Aguri Suzuki looked confused. Another man looked unhappy. Sugio Matsuda turned a car around. We didn't even see that in the race, the Data NSX spinning. The Autobacks man looked annoyed. The sun went on star filter. The Honda was a little bit rude to a Nissan. A man cheered. Another man gave his thumbs up. Hoppy wasn't happy. Another man talked to radio. Nick Cassidy argues. Nick Cassidy won the argument. So did K-Tunes. They won the race too. And they were happy. Very happy. This has been one of the best races of the year, without a doubt. And the result was Nick Cassidy on the podium, waving his fist. Thanks for joining us here on NISMO TV. I've been Sam Collins.
Thank you, guys. Great to know you there. I've been Rob Barff. We'll see you at the season finale.